era for American cricket began in 2021.
There he goes into a dive! What a catch!
The rise of cricket was celebrated across the country. Now, with big wickets and even bigger hits, the stars of minor league cricket are back and better than ever.
Primus goes huge!
Don't miss the nation's largest league competing for the biggest prize in American cricket. The Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship returns June 25th.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
Oh yeah, it's connected now. It's connected now. Adjust the camera height.
So we want to welcome you to Exton Park. Final games for both of these teams. The Philadelphians, they've been sent in here by the Empire State Titans. And both teams are coming down to their last game. We watch Tapash Apaisia has been given the ball with the news. The Philadelphians have been sent in to bat. Final game here. Final round, final set of games all across the country. I'm joined in the box, Brian Barish alongside me. A little bit later on, you'll hear from Matthew. So, Barish, we're down to the last game. Both teams fighting for a spot still.
Well, both of these teams know that they will not be playing playoffs cricket, as both the New Jersey Stallions and the Manhattan Yorkers have clinched the two available spots out of this Eastern Division. But you know what? The winner of this match will finish in third in the Eastern Division, and will be disappointing for both teams. A lot of people expecting the Philadelphians to advance and possibly even go further. They've been hampered with injuries during the course of the year. The Empire State Titans, a year after finishing, they will finish out.
So Milan Kumar, he's really been the Philadelphians' best batsman, 443 runs in the series. And he notched up 100 a couple of weeks ago, Brian, right here.
Yeah, first century for the Philadelphians in their history, their two-year history, and was entered the weekend at the top of the Atlantic Conference in the run rate. He's since been passed by Rakeem Cornwall and Lahiru Malantha, but he's really done well since he's entered the leadoff spot for his side.
Oh, that's a lovely shot over the infield, and that will go away for four. Commanding shot from Milan Kumar to start, and things are on the way here for the Philadelphians.
And he's in 2 balls. He's equaled his output yesterday in the loss against the New Jersey Stallions. And Narayan and Kumar, since Kumar formed this opening partnership 2 weeks ago today against the Manhattan Yorkers, they have really one or of the other have been really well. It didn't get off yesterday when Kumar went for 4 and Narayan went for a duck. This one is cut to the onside, and to fine leg, it looks like they're going to go for 2, and they're going to get 2 easily out of this one. So, and they're going to come back for a third, it looks like, as this outfield running very, very slowly. Great running between the wickets from Narayan and Kumar, and so all of a sudden, Kumar, off of 3 balls, is rocketed to 7.
Yeah, good start here from the Philadelphians. Axe to bat first. And Brian, I'm kind of surprised that the Empire State Titans have opted to bowl first, realizing that perhaps the Philadelphians are strong batting lineup. You look at Derek Narayan and Milan Kumar. And Derek Narayan, from the moment we've seen a change of the opening partnership, things have really come on between Derek Narayan and Milan Kumar.
Yeah, they had signed Abdullah in the starting earlier, but I mean, it really has shaken up the team.
So this over's gone pretty well. We've seen the fluent Milan Kumar getting off the mark with a lovely cover drive. And then not too long ago, good running from Derek Narain and Milind Kumar. So things are on the way here at Exton Park. Tapash Baisia, he would have played international cricket for Bangladesh, will come into bowl to Derek Narain. The ball defended here by Narain. And we made the point that the Abdullah-Derek Narain partnership never got going in the entire series, Brian.
No, it really hadn't. And when they made the change, it was essentially sit near the bush for the Philadelphians. You know, they had to do something to keep themselves in the playoff race. And, you know, unfortunately, they lost that big weekend here 2 weeks ago. They lost to New Jersey, and then they lost to Manhattan Yorkers.
Oh, he gets an edge. It doesn't matter how they come. When you're looking for runs, it doesn't matter how they come. It's how many. That's gone away for 4. A bit of lucky escape here from Derek Narain, but at the end of 1, it's 11 on the board.
One, two, three.
So good start here from Milind Kumar and Derek Narain. Brian, they're up to 11 and over. Can't complain after the first one.
No, it's a very good start, especially considering it's been inconsistent, I think, over the course of the season is a good way to put it. But, I mean, these two, other than yesterday, as we mentioned, Narain going for a duck, Kumar 4 off of just 7 deliveries. But, you know, good start. I mean, in this game, like we said, you're professionals, they're cricket players, they want to win this game, and, you know, who knows what's going to happen next season, but they're out here to win, and it should be, and also, it is a beautiful day. I don't know that you would want to be doing too much else other today on such a absolutely beautiful day here in the Philadelphia area.
So Adel Bhatti has been given the ball. Quality bowler is Adel Bhatti, will come into bowl to Milind Kumar. Milind Kumar has had an excellent season. Over 440 plus runs coming into this game, and Brian, he has really carried the burden of the Philadelphians.
Yeah, especially with all the injuries they've had. Liam Plunkett, of course, going down in that Manhattan Yorkers loss, and, you know, Trinson Carmichael's been in and out. Karima Gore's been in and out. Well, he's really helped steady the ship in the last couple weeks of the season.
So good start here from Adel Bhatti. He would have moved across from the DC Hawks. Very experienced player is Adel Bhatti. And the fact is, this is a quality contest. Milind Kumar, a player who would have played top-level cricket in India. He now plies his trade in the Philadelphia area, representing the Philadelphians. And what a season he has had.
It's really fun just having gotten the privilege to watch him play, and also to really manage this team that has everybody from Liam Plunkett all the way down to a bunch of young players coming up.
So ball chopped into the offside, can't score. This has been a very good start here from Adel Bhatti. We saw an over from Tapash Baisia that would have gone for 11. But relative to that, Philadelphians off to a good start. Are you surprised that the Empire State Titans have asked the Philadelphians to bat first?
I would say, yeah, I think it's a good day. You know, it's a good warm day. It's a good day for batting, but we've seen yesterday, as they thought about it, but they're going to not take any out of that, it looks like. We saw in all the games yesterday across the entire league, all of the teams that batted second won. So maybe they're trying to go off that mojo, who knows? But I probably would have batted if I won the toss.
So this is the return fixture. The other fixture would have happened in New York at Idlewild Field, in which the Philadelphians got the better of the Empire State Titans. The Empire State Titans enjoyed a prolific year last year, Brian. They were into the conference final. And now they find themselves battling for a third position with the Philadelphians. Very important matchup. And this has been a quality over here from Adel Bhatti. Very experienced. Look at that 4-dot ball so far.
Yeah, and, you know, it's a good way to stop, a good way to come back after giving up 11 runs in the first over. You know, and that's the thing is that you know, you don't know where these players are going to play next year. Of course, the way of this league, you know, some of these players will be available in the draft. They'll be available to move to other teams in the area. So you want to put on a good showing to finish out the season.
So quality stuff still continues here. Millen is running quickly. Good runner between the wickets. Good understanding with him and Derek Narain. We made mention that Derek Narain and Abdullah partnership never really prospered. In fact, we looked at some records, Brian, and we saw between Derek Narain and Abdullah Saeed in 8 innings, their highest was 36. They never batted out the power play session. And that alone tells you how much pressure that put on the top order batsman.
Yeah, I mean, across the league that it's very easy to be toppled so early on in the power play. We've seen a couple of instances where teams have lost 4 wickets before the end of that crucial 6th over. So, you know, you need to have 2 competent batsmen, and I think they found this partnership.
So Narain chops this one into the offside. That will complete over number 2. And a tidy over here from Adil Bhatti. 2 gone, 12 for no loss.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
So we're back with the cricket, 12 for no loss. Tapash Baisia will continue. This first over would have gone for 11, 12 on the board. Oh, pulled away. That's a lovely shot from Milind Kumar. That could be the first 6 of the afternoon. Deepak Kate goes upstairs. And that ball is struck well here from Milind Kumar.
Yeah, and this is the sort of ball you don't want to ball to Kumar, and so far he's had the number so far. And yeah, it was a short ball right in on his wheelhouse and right at the letters, so to speak, to use a baseball term, and he turned it around very nicely over mid-wicket for his first 6 of the afternoon.
So this man with over 450 runs in this series. Quality player. Milind Kumar has batted well in this series. Him and Jonathan Fu has really given them opportunities to win games, Brian.
They've had, I was going to say, not to interrupt, but they do have a few finishers in this time. And you know, Kumar, he could be that role. He's taken the opener role. But it's good to see Fu Fu getting a half century yesterday when Liam Plunkett was in the side as well. You know, they're very they can play just about any role you ask them.
So ball pulled into the onside, running up towards the straight mid-wicket boundary. And that will cross the tape now. That's another good-looking shot from Milind Kumar. He's all been classed today. A couple of quick boundaries in this over. That's a lovely shot through the onside for 4.
That's a very good shot, especially on this outfield that generally tends to play a little bit on the slow side. And we saw earlier in that first over when he was able to get 3 out of it, probably as a 4 just about any other ground. But you see the power there that he had to kind of blast through that slow outfield. He's already up to 18.
So a couple of boundaries in this over off the bowling of Tapash Baisia. And the fact is, Brian, both teams comes into this match. Would you imagine similar record? They've played 13. They've won 6 and they've lost 7.
And even though, you know, the playoff spots have already been decided, Lenny, this is, I mean, it's still it turned out to be an even competition from top to bottom. You know, and just even going into 2 weeks ago when we saw that all 7 teams really had a shout in terms of getting into the playoffs. But you know, I mean, it's no surprising that 2 teams at the end are. It's no surprising that the 2 teams are still on equal records.
So Narain, his highest score this season has been 64 against the New England Eagles. Would have been used at the top of the order in almost every game that he played. In fact, every game that he's played, he's a top quality player, having been retained this year by the Philadelphians. Comes out of New York, plays for the club called Majestics in the New York City area, one of the top clubs there, along with Chris Patterson, who we haven't seen this year with the Philadelphians. Well, they're off to a fine start. 23 dominated so far from Milind Kumar, but Derek Narain, we know how good he is. Look at that. Pulled into the onside, and that's gone a long way. And we'll have to wait and see. Might have gone one bounce for 4, so that's a lovely shot from Derek Narain. And again, on the verge of the end of the over, Brian, a big shot comes out.
Yeah, big shot for him, and he saw the ball really well and drove it very nice over the mid-wicket boundary. That ends the third over. The Philadelphians are 27 without loss.
Yeah, good.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
And an over. Adil Bhatti was quite brilliant in his first over. Brian, an over that's only conceded a single run. Milind Kumar, as you can see on your scorecard, he's up to 19. Derek is on 8. It's 27 for no loss. They're off to a very good start.
A very fine start in a team that, as we said, is pretty inconsistent in batting. And sometimes it can put up a total of 190, and in some cases they've struggled even to get into the 3 digits. And I feel like today is going to be, we'll have to see how it plays out. I feel like today's the kind of day that I feel like 160 is probably a good par score. There's still plenty of time, and we'll see how they do against Bashi, who seem to have their number, as you said, Lenny, allowing just 1 run off that first over, in contrast to Bashia, who gave up 26 in his 2. Very expensive.
So the beautiful Exton Park, all laid out in front of you. Milind Kumar just guiding this one in the vicinity of Tapash Paisya. They ambled through for a single. A single that brings Derek Narain back onto strike. With all fairness, he hasn't faced too many balls, but he had made sure he's been so productive so far, Brian.
Yeah, 8 from 6 so far. That's pretty good. And, you talked about the inning that he had, that 64 that he had last week. That was a very good innings from him, against the New England Eagles attack that, even though the Eagles are in last place in this division, it's still pretty strong when you think about players like Devendra Bishu and I don't think he was on the day, but players like Marvin Darlington that they've had as well. And that was a very testy game. I was there for that last week at Mercer Park. 2 teams going back and forth against each other as the season draws to an end.
So the quality bowling from Adil Bhatti continues. We've seen some quality stuff from him. He's only bowled 8 balls so far, and he's only conceded a couple of runs. So the big news out of the Eastern Conference, Brian, New Jersey Stallions and Manhattan Yorkers are 2 of the teams coming out from this region. And you're watching a Philadelphians and Empire State Titans clash, in which the team that wins here will probably settle for 3rd. Doesn't time it well, ball in the air for some time, but Derek Narain survives. And this has been quality stuff again from Adil Bhatti.
Yeah, he's bowling really, really well, and you could tell it sounded like he got all of it, but in fact it was more of a punch shot to the man at long on. And the Yorkers will finish second. So what that means is that the Stallions will face whoever comes out as the runner-up in the South Division, while the Yorkers will play whoever wins that division. And the game that's going on right now between the Morrisville Raptors and the Atlanta Lightning will most likely decide that, as the Atlanta Fire won earlier today. That one goes back to the bowler. There is no run. The Fire winning, so that eliminates the Atlanta Lightning. So it will be the Raptors and the Atlanta Fire. Rakeem Cornwall, Cornet Dry and Company will be playing in the playoffs. So the question will be, if the Raptors win, they will win the division. They will face the Yorkers, and the Stallions will play the Atlanta Fire. Otherwise, the Fire will win the division.
So look at that. So Adel Bati, hard work continues. And it brings Derek Narain's innings to an end. He falls for 8. It's 28 for 1. What a catch here from Adel Bati.
Oh, that was a cheeky catch, too. That was one-handed up in the air, and he was in the air as he made the catch. And that, I think, might be that might sneak into one of the plays of the week here in minor league cricket. So there is Narain, who has to go after getting 8, and the Philadelphians, after 3.5 overs, are 28 for 1.
Very soft in the end. I have to bring up the video and just put it low down. What, because they qualify? They don't want to win? What they're doing? Some food here, right? Yep. Give me. So at 28 for 1, Jonathan Fu comes to the middle. Promotion up the order, Brian, as we've seen around the country, teams that have already, whose fate has already been decided. We're beginning to see some different batting order lineup, and even the entire team been shuffled around.
Yeah, and I mean, he made 57 yesterday, which was a season high against the Stallions. So, the game, as we said, they want to win. It doesn't really mean anything in the context of playoffs or not. Turns out one to the onside, but not far enough to score a run. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the Titans do as well, as that has been given as a no ball. So it is a free hit, and Jonathan Fu and free hits, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. They just really, really go together. So we'll see him probably bring out the big bat here, the metaphorical big bat.
Oh, through the offside, hammered away, and that's gone away for 4 off a free hit ball. So good start here from Jonathan Fu, recipient of a free hit ball as soon as he comes to the wicket. And boy, he makes use of that. That's gone for 4.
That's a gift. That's a gift for him. And Fu now goes over the 300-run mark for the season. Second on the team. Of course, we mentioned Milind Kumar, who came into the day with 462 runs, or is up to 462 runs now. So that's the end of the 4th over. Philadelphians are 33 for 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
You look stronger than I know. But that's good. It's a work. Who's the bowler here? Not who's the bowler. So Tawhidul Islam has been given the ball, and he comes in here with a run rate that has gone over 8 runs and over. They're batting at 33 for 1. Milind Kumar, he's on 64. And we made mention 460 plus runs in this series so far. Really batted good, and it's incidental perhaps that two of the better batters here for the Philadelphians as Islam comes into the attack here, Brian.
Yeah, and they've had a very, very good attack over the course of this season, Lenny, and and one player who is not in the lineup, Arafel Hack, who is tied for second in the Atlantic Conference in wickets with 23. Sarjeet Singh Ladas. This one is hit and hit well down the track, and this one is out into the crops behind us. A massive, massive six.
Yeah, Milind Kumar continues to bat well. Kumar is a classy player, and he goes quickly up to 26, 39 for one.
Second six of the afternoon for Milind Kumar, and I have the feeling, he really has been feeling his oats the last couple of matches, and being at the top of the lineup, I think he's really kind of showing what kind of player he is. He is very versatile. He can bat pretty much anywhere you would want to ask him. Of course, if you're the captain, you're asking yourself. But in this case, he's doing really well. But just to finish the thought, Lada of DC, the top in the Atlantic Conference on 27. Prento Ahmed, his teammate in DC, on 23. Arifal Hawk, as we mentioned, the Empire State Titans, not in the lineup today, I do believe, 23. And then Bhaskar Yadram of the Manhattan Yorkers with 21 wickets. The top four in this Atlantic Conference, and a lot of the statistical leaders we've seen, especially on the offensive side, have come from the West Coast, and that doesn't mean that whoever comes out of this Atlantic Conference can't challenge the teams like Dallas and Silicon Valley. They really have dominated the competition on that side of this competition.
The ball punched into the offside. Better delivery here from Tawhidul Islam. So things are on the way here for spot number 3. Philadelphians and Empire State, they're both locked at 12 points each. Oh, look at that. Short and pulled out of here. And that's gone a long way from Milind Kumar. Another six off his bat is 45 for one.
Can't bowl him short, Lenny. You really can't, because he's got his eye in. And again, they're trying to watch where they're bowling him. And, he's these medium-pace bowlers. He's seeing the ball so well, and he launches that one over to the intense side of the field where there are people over there intense.
So this was gone for 12 with a couple of big sixes off the bat of Milind Kumar. He's all class. And he's really carried the fight for the Philadelphians. Wish they would have had a couple more batsmen like Milind Kumar from a productive standpoint. Oh, pulled away. That's gone a long way. That's gone for the maximum. And Milind Kumar feasting on the deliveries here from Tawhidul Islam. The 50 comes up in just the 5th over. Another six here for Milind Kumar.
Yeah, he's such a special player. He really is. He's the kind of bowler that you have to be on your game to when you go into the attack against him. And again, he's putting together a captain's knock.
Came into the match with averaging some 39 runs per innings. And you look what he's done so far. And so 5 over comes to an end. 50 comes up. It's 51 for 1 at the end of 5. As Matthew Achaibar comes into the box with the score at the end of 5 is 51 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So 51 for 1. We welcome Matthew Achaibar into the box. Matt, Vivek Ravichandran has been given the ball. But look at what we've seen so far. Milind Kumar, he's on fire here this afternoon at Exton Park.
Yeah, Milind Kumar, so far the promotion to the top has worked out in his favor. Has had a very good season in the minor league already. A century to his name during the Philly Cricket Festival. And so far has taken the fight to the Empire State Titans here today. And Vivek Ravichandran challenging to come in to the attack with 51 on the board in just the 5th over.
So we'll come into bowl to Jonathan Fu. They're off to a quick fire start. Having been sent in by the Empire State Titans. Teams are making changes into their lineup. Over the offside. And that will run away a very fast outfield here at Exton Park. And look at that. Jonathan Fu picks up a boundary.
Yeah, first ball hasn't been a great greeting for Vivek Ravichandran. And Jonathan Fu just getting that one up and over the infield. Fu, couple of boundaries to his name already. We saw him maximize that free hit delivery earlier.
So quick start here from the Philadelphians. Matt, we'll take a chance to talk about the sides here this afternoon, the Philadelphians and the Empire State. You'll give me a good sense of some changes to their squad. Jonathan Fu and Milind Kumar, they're up to a partnership of 27 so far. So what a start here from the Philadelphians. Oh, over the offside, and look at that. Jonathan Fu for another boundary. And not a good start here from Vivek Ravichandran. But Jonathan Fu, couple of boundaries in this over. Consecutive fours, actually, 59 for 1.
Yeah, allowing the width for Jonathan Fu. He just frees his arms, and given there's nobody really in that area, can't afford to bowl that. And now there he is sending a man out. But a couple of loose deliveries put away by Jonathan Fu.
So this one, another short ball, and look at that. Jonathan Fu obliges, and this one goes straight down to the left, to the right of the side screen. And this time, this has gone for 6. 3 boundaries in 3 balls.
Yeah, just being a little too easy to hit here is Vivek Ravichandran. This time a clean strike from Jonathan Fu. Straight down the ground.
Yeah, this was not gone too well here for the Empire State Titans. Ravichandran. And Matt, with all fairness, we've seen Ravichandran bowl a lot better than this one. This has been a very lukewarm performance from him. Vivek Ravichandran, he's a lot better than this. But in the meantime, Jonathan Fu has really helped himself with 14 runs in 3 balls. 65 for 1. I think we're all ready again for play. Vivek Ravichandran taking to the cleaners there, Matt. Let's talk about the Philadelphians lineup today. What has changed today? So no Abdullah Saeed. We've seen Milind Kumar choosing to bat at the top of the order. So we're ready for more cricket. Ravichandran will come into bowl to Jonathan Fu. They're off to a quick start here. Ball cut away into the offside. Can't beat the man. And some changes for the Empire State Titans. No Jaladua.
We haven't seen Jaladua in some bit of time. But yes, Empire State Titans. Bringing in a Vidyat Rajagopal, who'll be making his debut, the youngster.
And also Kival Patel also in the Empire State Titans lineup. So a couple of changes. The Philadelphians have opted to go without Abdullah, Liam Plunkett.
Chaitanya Pawal as well coming in.
Oh, look at this one. This one has gone a long way. It's gone far. And that has gone for 6 off the bat of Jonathan Fu. What a massive strike that one is, Matt.
Yeah, another very good shot from Jonathan Fu. And it's been a very difficult over for Vivek Ravichandran. Under some pressure here, and the Philadelphians are flying 71 for 1 after the power play.
One, two, three.
So very quick start here from the Philadelphians, having been sent in. Milind Kumar Matt with close to 470 runs in the series. He's really done well for the Philadelphians. He's out there on 38 not out.
Yeah, and him and Jonathan Fu putting together 43-run partnership of just 14 deliveries. And this is a perfect start for the Philadelphians. Despite the loss of Derek Narine, they have really kept the foot on the gas still. Because look, they've had a dramatic turnaround in form since promoting the likes of Milind Kumar right at the top and Jonathan Fu coming up from the lower order right at 3. Made some changes to the batting order and even to the lineup, and it's really worked the last few games for the Philadelphians as Tohidul Islam continues.
Yeah, Islam first over didn't go too well. He went for 18. We've seen a rampaging Jonathan Fu and Milind Kumar, and look at his scorecard there. They're going at 11.8 and over, almost 12 runs and over. What a start here from the Philadelphians. Paddled into the onside behind the keeper's head, running up towards the fine leg boundary. They'll come back. In fact, they'll settle for 2, but a very good looking shot again from Milind Kumar.
That's part of the job in T20 cricket. Got to find runs from anywhere. On that occasion, Milind Kumar, bit of the cheeky option. Better start here from Tohidul Islam, given his first over would have gone for so much. 18. Has started off with a couple of good deliveries to Milind Kumar.
Like this, we saw an over from Vivek Ravichandran, went for 20 man. Jonathan Fu really teed off on him. Oh, look at that. Swung away into the onside. That has gone a long way. And gone away for 4. Umpire Deepak Kate signals 4. And the runs keep flowing here for the Philadelphians.
Yeah, swept away with some bit of power, some bit of conviction by Milind Kumar. And he flies up to 44 of just 22 deliveries. Nearing the 50 partnership between these two. It's come off just 17 deliveries, and that's one of the things about T20 cricket. Milestones are always good, but it's a matter of when.
Now look at that. That brings up the 50. So Milind Kumar pulls into the onside. That's gone a long way. Milind Kumar, quick 50 here this afternoon. 83 for 1.
50 partnership and 50 for Milind Kumar as well. Off 23 deliveries, 5 sixes and 3 fours to Milind Kumar. And I was just making the point. In T20 cricket, yes, 50s are important, but we see how many times a 50 with deliveries you want it to. This one will definitely please the Philadelphians for sure.
So Milind Kumar picks up another 50. We'll take a look at what has happened there. Ball cut away into the offside. Can't score this time. So a rampaging Philadelphians after a very quick start, going over 12 runs and over. And this over's gone for 12 so far from Tohidul Islam. Oh, through the offside, a classic drive. They're going to get runs here. Good feeling by the man out in the deep, but a couple of runs here to Milind Kumar. That completes over number 7, and after 7, they're 85 for 1.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Now they realize he got a 50?
I guess, yeah.
How come? It's already on the...
They're on.
Hey.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to.
Oh, maybe. But they should have told them, though.
They would have somebody over there at least.
So 7 overs gone. Matt, we've seen a delayed applause to Milind Kumar, who's gotten up to 52. Partnership was 57 between the pair out in the middle. Jonathan Fu has been among the runs himself. When you look at his scorecard there, they're up to 85 for 1. Were you surprised that the Philadelphians were asked to bat first?
I definitely was. Bit of a surprising option given the kind of form that the Philadelphians are in. Don't want to give Milind Kumar and Jonathan Fu this kind of freedom, knowing that there's not really anything to play at, nothing to dictate how they play. They can just bat as freely as they want. That's probably the worst case scenario with Milind and Jonathan Fu, and this Philadelphian side does bat deep. So Tapash will come back into the attack with a ball 2 in the power play that would have gone for 26. And it hasn't been a great day with ball in hand so far for the Empire State Titans. They've used 4 bowlers. Really, all of them have had their fair share, except Adil Bhatti, who had ball 2 overs for 7 with the wicket of Derek Narain.
Yeah, Matt, you're right on that. Adil Bhatti bowled exceptionally well. That's Tapash Baizia, first man to be given a second spell. Ball eased into the offside here from Jonathan Fu. And Matt, you look at the bowling run up here of Tapash Baisia and the way they run. One of the things I've noticed on this ground, there's a track that has really been carved out. That just goes to show how many right arm bowlers over the wicket. They've made a track there. And you look on the opposite end of the pitch. Ball guided into the offside. This has been very good batting from Milind Kumar. He's been really special here. Jonathan Fu comes back into strike. He's 87 for the loss of Derek Narain.
How big of an addition has Fu been to this Philadelphian side? We saw how valuable he was to them last year. Won them a few games. And then during the minor league player auction, he wasn't initially listed. They hadn't officially named a wild card. I was thinking to myself that this one in the air from Jonathan Fu, work to be done, and a very good catch. Garanshu Sharma, it is. He's a very safe fielder and takes a very good catch. Wasn't an easy one. And in the end, it's the departure of Jonathan Fu, 87 for 2. Brilliant from Garanshu.
Yeah, good swirling catch there from Garanshu Sharma. Dafa News play of the moment. Continuing coverage of this year's minor league comes to you with compliments of Sunoco, presented by Sunoco and also Toyota. So Jonathan Fu falls at 87 for 2. Good catch from Garanshu Sharma. So 87 for 2. It appears Miles Vikar has come to the middle. Milind Kumar with a 50 mat. We've seen an excellent catch from Garanshu Sharma. He's one of the top fielders here for the Empire State Titans.
Pulling off very well judged catch to dismiss Jonathan Fu. I was just saying was a very crucial part of the Philly side. Milind getting an inside edge on that one. Hands things over now to Miles Vikar.
So opportunities here for some of the other players, Matt, to get a chance to enjoy this year's minor league. This has been a very good over here, better over here from Tapash Baisia. Will come into bowl for the first time to Vicar. Gets off the mark, looking for a couple of runs. Sharma gets onto the ball now, but can't prevent. Oh, a bit of slip here from Miles Vicar, and everybody's scampering to make some ground. Good bit of work here from Goranshu Sharma and Kwame Patan Jr.
Yeah, things seem to fall apart, quite literally speaking, in that second run. Both Mahesh Vikar and Milind Kumar ending up down on the floor.
Yeah, it took a... Well, Vikar fell first.
And then Milind Kumar, running to the danger end, had to put in the dive.
In the meantime, the throw wasn't any good at all. It just fell in the middle of the pitch. What a dramatic moment, but so far so good. Vikar driving up towards the offside. That will complete over number 8. And so 8 gone. The Philadelphians asked to bat first. They're batting at 91 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Who are some of the third place off your head? So welcome back to Exton Park. 91 for 2 at the end of 8. Vivek Ravichandran has been given a second spell here, Matt. And we'll come into bowl to Vikar. Milind Kumar is still up on 54. We've seen the departure of Derek Narain and Jonathan Fu. So ball stroked into the offside, and Matt, we're... Ravichandran has fallen down, 92 for 2.
I'm not sure what's happened here, but it doesn't seem to be in the best. Yeah, Vivek Ravichandran.
He might have twisted the ankle. How many times we've seen the ankle injury to many of the players, and it appears to be something. He delivered a very good ball that was punched into the offside of the bat of Mahesh Vikar. But now to add insult to injury here, Ravichandran seems to be
To have a stumble on the follow through there, perhaps, was Ravichandran. I hope he's okay, but at the moment, being taken care of by both, not only the Empire State Titans, but also both of the Philly batters, which is always a nice sight to see.
Yeah, one of the things about these ground mat, a little bit uneven at times, running up to bowl. So Vivek Ravichandran is done for the time being. 92 for 2. So we're about for a restart here. Ravichandran will come into bowl to Milind Kumar. Milind Kumar already with a 50 up this afternoon. Ball driven into the onside, and Matt, how much will that play on Vivek Ravichandran's approach?
Watching where he steps. But he's delivered some 2 good deliveries so far in this over. Still a slight limp. But he's done very well here. Very good comeback over, given his first one would have gone for 20. Has come back and has done much better here so far.
So ball punched into the offside again from Vicar. There, runs coming by single in this over. This has been a very good one. They scamper back for a couple of runs for to save a bit of an overthrow. Brings the score closer to 95, Matt. We are in the 9th over. Milind Kumar, he's batted extremely well. He's waiting at the other end, but for now, Vicar has looked pretty fluent so far. This over's gone pretty well here for Vivek Ravichandran. We saw him down after the first ball, but that has not interfered with his quality of stuff. This has been a quality over ball stroked away. This is a good looking shot here from Vicar. But that will complete over number 9. And after 9, the Philadelphians, they're batting first. They're batting at 92 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
So he needs 3 to get 500? 2 more. So we're back with the cricket. Vicar up to what, 500 runs? What a season he has had.
Yeah, it's been a very prolific season for Milind Kumar. Has been a very integral part of the Philadelphians lineup. And this is a man that would have gotten over 1,000 runs in Ranji Trophy cricket in India. So it's no real surprise he's doing very well here in the States.
So good crowd watching proceedings here at Exton Park. Matt, if I had come to Exton Park looking to get one of those one of those grass mounds, Garanshu Sharma has been given the ball and starts pretty well. And here's the big moment we probably would want to highlight. A couple more runs here from Milind Kumar will give him 500 runs for the Philadelphians this season. 498 so far. What a moment here for Milind Kumar. And the fact of the matter, Matt, he doesn't know that, I'm pretty sure. Unless he had gone to the crease and count every runs. He came into this game with 443. And now he's batted extremely well. Here we go. Milind Kumar, 498 runs this series. And chalk one up more, so he goes up to 499. What a season he has had.
Yeah, it's been very, very great from Milind Kumar. Big performance from him. I feel the Philadelphians, particularly in the batting, we mentioned how Abdullah and Derek Narayan have struggled to really lift off that opening partnership. You feel if they had one more consistent batter like Milind Kumar, it would have been in a much better position. Chiru Bhatia has been one of those that has gotten some good scores, but just hasn't been that standout.
Oh, good looking catch from Adil Bhatti. And Vicar has to go. It's 98 for 3. Good catch here from Adil Bhatti.
Yeah, that's 2 for him on the day. From Adil Bhatti has had a very good day in the field for him. And it's the end of Myers Vicar, who was looking good. In the end, has to walk back for just 8 on the board. And there's the third one down. So Garanshu Sharma gets the breakthrough.
Yeah, ball driven into the offside. And Adil Bhatti, while the ball would have gone straight, but it traveled pretty quickly. Out of Derek Narayan, and now a more formal drive here from Vicar. So 98 for 3. We are in over number 10. Okay, so the guys at the back end, he does a replay, so we just got to imagine, right? And he's pretty consistent with it. In the dark, but he does replay. So Shiro Bhatia comes to the middle. Matt, another player with over 200 runs this season, and Shiro would have come into the Philadelphians as a bowling all-rounder, so to speak. And I thought at some point he became so prominent as one of the top order batsmen that he batted between 5 or even higher on some occasions.
Yeah, definitely came into this team perhaps as more of a bowler that has got some attacking end, a much more valuable all-rounder, and in the end has become more of a batsman in multiple tournaments across the Northeast. And we've seen him put along some good innings as well. 56 against the Empire State Titans back at Idlewild when these two last would have met. There was a big chase pulled off there by the Philadelphians.
So he comes in here with 63 balls remaining. They're off to a good start. Nothing wrong with the current run rate. Over 10 runs and over. They have lost 3. Milind Kumar still out in the middle looking for that 1 run. So this has been a very good over here from Garanshu Sharma. He's only given up 2. He's picked up 1. As Shiro Bhatia comes to the middle.
Garanshu Sharma has had very good success so far. Just one of those part-timers you'd feel for the Empire State Titans. But how often do we see these part-timers get some very good overs, get a big wicket? Garanshu Sharma has definitely bowled well. This one, though, will be called a wide.
Yeah, that's the first wide of the game.
Yeah, we did see a no ball earlier. Much needed over here for the Titans, though.
Yeah, sure on that. This has been a quality one. We've seen a couple of quality spell. We saw Adel Bhatti. 2 overs, no made 1 for 7 so far. And now this one, Garanshu Sharma. 2 of the better overs we've seen. In fact, 3 good overs we've seen from the Empire State Titans. The other news, not so good here for the Empire State Titans. So that will complete over number 10. And after 10, it's 99 for 3. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
1, 2, 3.
So the action will continue. 10 overs gone as we welcome Brian Parrish back into the box. Brian, a fight back here from the Empire State Titans, but you'll be on call as Milind Kumar approaches that coveted 500 mark.
Yeah, and he would be the 6th player to cross that echelon this season. And when you look at some of the other names that have already gotten there, you know, so all of them, with the exception of Cheyenne Jangir of the Lone Star Athletics, will be playing playoffs cricket next week.
So look at that. Milind into the onside. That's gone away for 4. That brings up the 100 and crosses Milind Kumar over 500 runs this season.
Yeah, well done from him, and it just kind of shows, and really he's experienced this renaissance, especially, we mentioned his top score of 104. He is in that far, and I believe they have figured that out on the bench with a little extra round of applause for him. Well earned.
So 100 comes up in quick time. Milind Kumar, he's just tugging this one into the onside, can't score this time. Well, Brian, so far we've seen quality bowling from Adel Bhatti, and we've seen a good one here from Garanshu Sharma, but otherwise than that, we've seen the bat dominating so far.
Yeah.
And when we say bat, we've seen a dominating performance here from Milind Kumar. We saw a quick fire, 25 from Jonathan Fu. But other than that, it has been the Philadelphians all the way.
Yeah, and Fu has been very feast or famine, but he did his job, and that is to go in with Milind. He's just slapping the ball all over the place, and you see he'll get another run out of that.
saw in the last over would have faced 3 balls from Goranshu Sharma, part-timer, who has been given the ball. Empire State, they're missing the likes of Chintan Patel. And Chintan Patel would have served them well, had a lot of overs during the course of this minor league. But he's not here today, and they will have to, depending on the services of Tapashu Sharma and Vivek Ravichandran.
That I think shows the difference between the teams that are going to advance a little bit further on and the ones that aren't. This one defended. The teams, obviously, you have to be able to bat deeper with ball. You know, you have to bat deep, and you also have to bowl deep as well. And you have to be able to do both. And you know, we'll see how they go today. Obviously, as we mentioned, both of these teams eliminated, but we'll see how they go in this fight.
So ball pulled away short and hammered into the onside of the batter, Shiro Bhatia. We'll have to wait and see if the fielder made a save there. In fact, he's gone away for 4. Deepak Kate, the umpire. And that's another good-looking shot here from the Philadelphians batsman. It's 108 for 3. 11 overs gone. Milind Kumar and Shiro Bhatia out in the middle.
As we start over number 12, the Philadelphians 108 for 3. And Milind Kumar, 61 runs off of 33 balls. And, you know, he mentioned he's crossed this mark. He's doing so at an average of 42. His strike rate is down from last year, 157.86 in a year where he scored 221 runs in just 7 innings at the crease. But his strike rate down to 138.08. But you know what? He's getting the job done and doing so well. You can see what he can do.
So Goranshu Sharma continues. Ball eased into the onside, running quickly, wanting a couple of runs. Shiro Bhatia decided that no, we'll stay for 1.
Sharma with a wicket in 3 runs from his first over. And I'm seeing if I can conjure another one here. And try and slow him down. And right now, he's really been the toothpick in the sandwich that's kind of held everything together. As the Philadelphians, I mean, so far, you see that their projected score at this point is 196, which is a really super score considering they were asked to bat first.
So Shiro Bhatia, we've seen him a couple of big knocks during the course of this season. He's a quality batter. It's 109 for 353 balls still to be bowled. Ball driven, and that's a lovely shot from Shiro Bhatia all along the ground. But will not go across the tape, but he picks up a couple of runs. That's a good-looking shot, Brian.
That's very good, and also very well placed right through the 5 hole, as we say in hockey, right through between the legs of the man there at short mid-on. It's just a matter of finding the right spots, and probably unlucky not to get a boundary out of that, but I'm sure he'll take the 2.
So still a quality over here from Goranshu Sharma. We saw his first over would have gone for 3. Would have picked up 1 wicket. Picked up the wicket of Vikar. So relative to that, Brian, look at what has happened here so far. 3 runs in 3 balls.
And they need a good slow over from this, especially with the way that Milind Kumar has been batting.
Brian, let's look at this one that's punched into the offside. Let's look around the country and see some of the teams that are in 3rd position at the moment. We see on the West Coast, Silicon Valley Strikers, East Bay Blazers at the top there, and then of course Seattle Thunderbolts hanging in at number 3. Of course, things will change. Games are still playing. And then we look at the Dallas area. Dallas Mustang top of the table. Tigers there. And then Michigan Cricket Star holding the number 3 position. Over to the south, Mooresville Raptors, Atlanta Fire, and then number 3, the Lightning. Then we come to our division here, and it's the Philadelphians and the Empire State Titans.
Well, and Lenny, you know, all those, the teams in the Atlantic Conference have already been decided. So those third place teams, you mentioned the Lightning, they're eliminated. Philadelphia has already, whoever comes out of this one is not going to make the playoffs. But Seattle Thunderbolts still have a chance. They're playing the Golden State Grizzlies right now, and as we look in, they're 13 overs in. Golden State batting first. They're 70 for 5 against the Thunderbolts.
Allow you to finish up that, but 12 overs gone, 113 for 3. Yeah, just still some movements around.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
We begin the 13th over. Philadelphia's 113 for 3, and just to kind of finish up, as we mentioned, Seattle with a win. That battle with the East Bay Blazers all season long, and the Blazers finishing up their schedule yesterday with a win. So if the Blazers or the Thunderbolts were able to win their game in such a way that they would end up on top on net run rate, then they would advance and they would end up playing the Dallas Mustangs in the opening series next week. They need to win. And also, that would come down to net run rate in order for them to topple the Chicago Tigers.
So ball pulled into the onside here from Milian Kumar as another over begins. And they come back for a couple of runs. Running quickly here. And 2 more runs here for Milian Kumar.
And as we do check very quickly, that Michigan Cricket Stars, they batted first, 119 for 7. The Dallas Mustangs, 11 overs in. They're 78 for 1. They need 42 off of the final 54. So it looks like the Cricket Stars' magic is going to run out. The Chicago Tigers looking very good. And we're going to have a date with Unik Chand and the rest of the Silicon Valley Strikers in the opening round.
So ball has eluded Christopher Van Tull. We'll have to wait for the call from umpire Deepak Kate. Could be leg byes. We'll wait and see. They cross for a couple of runs. Look at that, off the bat or maybe off the glove of Milian Kumar. He continues to bat well. It's 117 on the board.
He goes to 67, and you know what? It's a little bit of luck. You know, you have to, skill is one thing, but in order to get this, in order to have a long spell at the crease like this, you're going to have a couple of balls and bounces your way.
So similar shot, could just over the head of the tall Christopher Van Tull, and he picks up another run. So this over's gone for 5 so far from Vivek Ravichandran. We made mention the Philadelphians would have finished 3rd last year. They're on with a clash here with the Empire State Titans holding down the 3rd position. And the fact is, Brian, when you look at the Empire State Titans, might have been a downward trend from their last year performance. They got into the conference final last year. And now they're battling for number 3 here with the Philadelphians. Wide is the signal from umpire Deepak Kate. And a couple of runs here added to the scorecard, 120 for 3.
Yeah, this I think, obviously disappointing for both teams, but, the Titans, they're coming in with essentially a brand new team this season, and they're going to be a big question mark, as opposed to the Philadelphians. When you talk about how they were retaining Fu and Narain and Kumar, and then they brought in Liam Plunkett, they were expected to be at the top of this division.
Oh, Milian Kumar, look at that. He comes down the track. Thank you. Wow.
Oh.
Has he taken the catch?
Yes, he has.
That's Kwame Patan Jr. We'll have to take a look on the replay on this one. But Milian Kumar has to go. It's 120 for 4.
And he went down the track. It's a place where he's been very, very familiar with in terms of where he's placed the ball, trying to place this one out to the cornfield or the crop field here on the Swedesford Road side, but he ends up holing out here. And so a potential inning, but a very good inning as we look at it again. And he makes the catch right in front of the sight screen. So Kwame Patton Jr. makes the catch. Ravi Chandran gets a wicket. Kumar goes for 68 from 40. He belted 4 4s and 5 6s. The Philadelphians 120 for 4.
Yeah, that's an excellent catch from Kwame Patan Jr. That's a Dafa News play of the game, I'm pretty sure. It would have happened just in front of one of the advertising boards. So good mileage here for Kwame Patan Jr. Well, what a catch here, Brian, we've seen from the young man.
Yeah, very good catch. That's a very difficult catch. He probably ended up making it, I would say, probably about a good 3 feet in front of the rope. And for those of you not familiar with cricket, it's not like in baseball where you can like kind of reach over. It's if you have any sort of contact with the rope or the area behind the rope, and that you're considered out of the field of play, and that would have been a 6. So a great job by Kwame Patton Jr. to manage where he is. And unlike baseball, there is no warning track. There's no real way. You sort of have to feel your way and make the catch, and he did that in a very, very, very solid fashion to retire the Philadelphian captain.
So the vice captain comes to the middle, Anirudh Emmanuel. And we're beginning to see a fight back here from the Empire State Titans. They were batting one time at 87 for 2. And you look at the card now, it's 120 for 4. And Brian, what essentially we've seen the departure of Milind Kumar and the departure of Jonathan Fu. The two outstanding batters so far. And now it's left to the likes of Shiro Bhatia, Anirudh Emmanuel, and the others to come. But the Empire State Titans fighting back here at Exton Park.
And they're putting a lot of pressure on the tail here, especially Emmanuel, the teenager. And yesterday he went for just 6 from 8 balls. You know, is not really known for his scoring prowess. His highest score so far this season has been 13 runs.
So this one into the onside. Anirudh Emmanuel gets off the mark. And that will complete over number 13. A good crowd watching this game. When we come back, we'll talk about that. But at the end of 13, it's 121 for 4.
1, 2, 3.
All follow is number 2.
2, 1 is
Okay,
now
so
3. He is bowling now.
So mark 3 is from that bowling
Yeah.
side. When the ball
Now
hits the
3 and 2
ball,
only.
when the guy, if the ball doesn't go out of the square, just leave it there. When it do a better ball follow that. So it's 121 for 4. Goranshu Sharma will continue, will come into bowl to Emmanuel. And Brian's 122 for 4. Let's talk about the crowd watching this game. I'm really surprised that they have come out in their numbers for the final game.
Well, it is a beautiful day. The high is only supposed to be in the low 80s Fahrenheit today. And, you know, I bumped into a number of people on the way into the ground today who were at the festival 2 weeks ago and really have been hooked. In fact, I met a couple that were at both games last weekend that the Philadelphians played up at Mercer County Park. And so you can see the importance of an event like that and maintaining a following of this great sport.
So ball played into the offside. Goranshu Sharma's bowled well. And Brian, when we look back at the Philadelphia Cricket Festival we've had here a couple of weeks ago, we had Philadelphians won one of those games. Might have been a different dynamics to this points table at the moment.
It really would have. I mean, that we mentioned how close all the teams were, and really everything just fell apart, not only for the Philadelphians, but from just about every other team, as that one is cut to the offside. They've come through 4 on single, and Bhatia goes to 8. And, yeah, I mean, that really just everybody kind of fell apart after that, because heading into the weekends last week, really all the, you know, every other team behind the Yorkers and the Stallions, they needed to win out and hope that the Yorkers lost out. And only the Philadelphians met that obligation, as they won both of their games, including a win over the Yorkers. They were still in contention going into that game against the Stallions yesterday, and of course they lost.
So Emmanuel into the offside, good stop, a run. This has been a very good over again from Goranshu Sharma. Sharma has bowled 2.41 for 11 so far. This has been very good bowling from the off spinner. And Brian just coming back to the Philadelphians' progress this season. And the fact is, that weekend they would have lost to 2 of the top teams. In fact, teams would have gone on to beat table toppers ahead of them. the New Jersey Stallions and Manhattan Yorkers. As in the case of the Manhattan Yorkers, this one into the offside from Shiro Bhatia. We'll get a single out towards the offside. I thought they had scored enough runs when we were led by certainly Danish Patel.
And Joel Campbell, who is not with the team at this point, as I believe that has been given as a no. No, I'm sorry. I think that really showed the measure of the Philadelphians, and really that was a good litmus test. And unfortunately, they didn't pass either one.
So a quality over comes to an end. That will complete over number 14. And after 14, it's 126 for 4 here at the beautiful Exton Park. The Philadelphians batting first, 126 for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Oh man, next week we might be in a crisis because I have another event to go to next week. We got to fly in a guy. Maybe a guy from Atlanta. Mato, this is Toledo.
14 overs gone. The Philadelphia's 126 for 4. Anirudh Emanuel 4 off of 5. And Chiranchu Bhatia 9 off of 11. And who do we have bowling in here? It is Tauhidul Islam once again. He was gone for 32 in his first 2 overs, Lenny.
Yeah, he's been on the expensive side. We'll come into bowl to the young Emmanuel, given the vice captain position this year. And Brian, you've got to love the fight back here from the Empire State Titans. They've really brought the scoring rate down from 10 and 11 and over to a manageable 8.8 at the moment.
Yeah, we mentioned that they were looking almost close to 200 in terms of a projected score when at the halfway mark that number's come down to 180. That's still pretty manageable, but this is, remember, a Philadelphians team that has not defended numbers in the 190s. The the Manhattan Yorkers were here a couple of weeks ago. They won that with relative ease, did the Yorkers.
So ball punched into the offside. They're going to run quickly, looking for 2. Easy 2 in the end, as Garanshu Sharma comes around. Pushes the score up to 129 for 4. 33 balls still to be bowled. And if you're just joining us here, Derek Narayan fell for 8. Milind Kumar, 68, batted extremely well. Jonathan Fu got 25. Vikar got 8. As in the case of Milind Kumar, we made the point that would have crossed 500 runs. Those are very good numbers, as he certainly ends his season on a high. Way better over here from Tauhidul Islam. We saw when he came into bowl his third over here, Brian, he was going up at 16 runs and over. But this over's gone for 3 so far.
Yeah, bowling in T20 is very, very hot and cold. Sometimes you can come in and have a couple of expensive overs as he slaps this one down the ground to mid off. They'll come through for a single. Yeah, you can go through spells where you have 16, 20 runs and then come back and have a tidy over. And so far, Islam has had that. He's allowed just the 4 runs off of it.
So 15 overs gone. It's 130 for 4. We'll take a commentator break. Matthew will come into the box with Brian Bowers. 15 overs gone, 130 for 4.
Just tell me when you figure out who's bowling. Tell me who's bowling. 15th over, Philadelphians are 130 for 4. Matthew Achabar joins me, Brian Barish. Garanchu Sharma about to bowl his 4th and final over. Matthew, he's been really tidy so far, 1 for 13 in his first 3.
Yeah, he really has, and for a part-timer, as we've known Garanchu Sharma, he's had a very good day. 3 overs, 1 for 13 has been the best here for the Empire State Titans so far.
Tap back to the bowler, no run. 130 for 4 of the Philadelphians. Chiranchu Bhatia, 12 off of 15. Doing a fantastic job coming in here. He's a man who has top scored. He can find the runs. He's top scored at 56 previously. As the Philadelphians, the Titans rather, won the toss and sent this Philadelphian side into bowl, a team that, as we've mentioned a couple of times, has been inconsistent batting, but doing so good so far. This one driven on the offside, but right at the fielder and mid-off, and no run there.
Bhatia probably need to get a move on at some stage with 28 deliveries to go. You always want to take advantage of the final 5, the fast 5 as it's been known around the leagues. 12 of 17 hasn't been the best. This one's straight down the ground for just a single.
And when you come in, Matthew, at this point in the lineup, at this part here, you know, Bhatia has faced 17 balls. He's going at less than a run a ball. In fact, his strike rate is 70.59. And just to give you an idea, if you have a strike rate of 100, you are a run a ball. So he's not really doing his team any favors by being that far behind on the strike rate. You would tend to think that he's going to need to get aggressive at some point.
Especially batting with the youngster Anirudh Emmanuel, who has shown glimpses that he can hit them big. A bit of fielding there, but not out, says the umpire. But just going back to the point, batting alongside Anirudh Emmanuel, who is still new, still learning the ups and downs of minor league. Hasn't had many batting opportunities. And a player like Chiru Bhatia, you feel he will be the one that will really put his hand up and say that he'll go at the Empire State Titans, but at the moment hasn't been the case.
No, and Emmanuel, as we mentioned, not really known for his batting prowess. 34 runs this season. Rather, in his minor league cricket career, he played last year for New Jersey Stallions. One of 2 youngsters, Viren Mantha, the other, who have come over from New Jersey to play for Philadelphia. Two balls left, back down the track. It's going to roll. It's going to roll. They're going to get 1 from this. They thought about a second, but they're not going to get it.
Not getting the elevation on that occasion was Chiru Bhatia. So the last couple of shots was very good in terms of intent, but in the end could only manage a single. Wasn't getting the elevation to take it over the ropes for 6. But another good over here and a very good bowling display in general from Garanchu Sharma. Has gone for 16 and picked up the wicket earlier of Maizvekar.
Slap down to the offside. They'll pick up 1 more run, but still Sharma 1 for 17 as he finishes his afternoon bowling. 16 complete here at Exton Park. The Philadelphians 134 for 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So look, put that your chest. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Right, a little bit up. Yeah. All right, good.
Adil Bhatti comes into the attack once again. And we talk about economical bowlers, Matt. 1 for 7 in 2 overs so far, as this run rate really has slowed down. The Philadelphians at the 10 over mark, projected score is at 196. It's all the way down to 168. They've done very good, the Titans bowlers, in the second half of the innings.
Yeah, they really have. The Empire State Titans, we saw a very good display from Garanchu Sharma. 4 overs, 1 for 17. And Adil Bhatti has been very economical as well. 2 overs just for 7 runs and would have picked up the earlier wicket of Derek Narain. And has had a good day in the field as well. Adil Bhatti pulling off a couple of very good catches, so you feel he's in a very good position in terms of momentum right now coming into the Final Four.
Hit down the track, the fielder coming in. He'll field out on a couple of hops, and the ball dies in this thick and lush Exton Park outfield. They come through for a single. And it'll be interesting to see how the Philadelphians handle these death overs now, as they're 5 and 6 batters, and the youngster Anirudh Manuel and Transu Bathia, who has played very well and, as we said, knows how to hit half centuries.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how these two carry on with 23 deliveries to go, given neither of them have really gotten to a somewhat healthy strike rate. So far it's been strike rotation. But they've still got an over from Tawhidul Islam, one from Tapash Baisia, and another one after this from Adil Bhatti. Don't see the Titans introducing another bowler. Playing a miss. Goes through to Christopher Vantol, very stylish keeper. We always talk about Christopher Vantol behind the stumps.
There's a lot of really stylish keepers across the league, especially on this East Coast with Franklin Clement down in D.C. Of course, Anthony Bramble has done such a great job. He's a keeper all-arounder because he's also very good with the bat. As this one is punched down the ground to the offside, they'll come through for another single. The Philadelphians, by the way, we talk about how tighty this Titans bowling attack has been. They haven't allowed double digits since the 7th over, as there was an Islam over for 14, but they haven't allowed more than 9 since the 11th, when Ravi Chandra gave up 9.
Down the ground from Anirudh Emmanuel, can only find the fielder again. Kwame Patton Jr. is out there. Very good over here so far from Adil Bhatti. Still 2 deliveries to go. But given we're in those death overs, teams always like to just go hard at the end. Going for 3 in 4 deliveries is always a good thing.
We continue with coverage of this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket season, presented by Sunoco, and with compliments of DAFA News. Of course, the local sponsorship here from Parks and Parks Bet is located not terribly far from where we're sitting in Exton, down in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Racetrack Casino comes in, and that one is cut, but right to a fielder, but just got by the fielder. In fact, they're going to come back for 2 as it squirted through him. It skitters across like a cockroach on the bathroom floor. And able to steal 2 out of that. Good heads-up running between the 2 in the middle. And they can't be literally leaking runs out of that one, Matt.
Love the wordplay today, Brian. First it was the peanut butter and jelly reference, and now it's a cockroach like on a bathroom floor. Love it.
Well, if Rakeem Cornwall was here, I'd tell you that he was stronger than a garlic milkshake. But he isn't, so I can't. Now one is knocked down the ground. Again, that one is punched through. They thought about 2. They'll have to settle for 1. 17 overs complete. The Philadelphians looking good. They're 140 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
3 overs to go. Chiru Bhatia is on 18 of 23 deliveries. Anirudh Emmanuel is 9 off 11. We've had a bit of a quiet period here for the Philadelphians. We've seen some very good overs here by the Empire State Titans from the 14th over really up to now. Have all been very good.
You look at some of the bowling figures now. Bhatti, 1 from 13 from 3 overs. Garachu Sharma, as we mentioned, 1 from 17 from his full complement of 4. And really has balanced the more expensive of Vivek Ravichandran, who went 1 for 42, did take a very important wicket of Milan Kumar, who was rattling along before being dismissed at 6 for 68 off of 40.
So Tahidul continues. This one is high in the air, and it's got the distance as well. So Chiru Bhatia with a shot of intent, and it works out very well in his favor. Goes all the way for 6, and a much-needed one for the Philadelphians. We hadn't seen a boundary since the 11th over. So a much-needed 6 that off the bat of Chiru Bhatia.
It'll be interesting to see now his intent as we come down through these final 3 overs, Matt. And there's another one down the track, headed that one out towards the trail once again. And that one has, in fact, gone all the way.
So another 6 consecutive off the bat of Chiru Bhatia. Powerful striking straight down the ground. And it's been a very difficult start here for Tahidul Islam, who's been on the expensive side. 3.2 overs, none for 48, as we see the official signal confirmed all the way. But you were just making the point. What kind of intent do we see from Chiru Bhatia? There's your answer.
Yeah, and I think we see this a lot in the death overs, Matt, especially when a team has been really ground down in the second half of the innings, overs 10 on. And as we mentioned, the Philadelphians have not had a double-digit over since what did we say here? We said the 7th over. Well, that has gone as 12 runs off the first 2 balls, and I believe they are going to, as third umpire Brian Kane has gone out with his donut box full of extra balls, and they will pick another one. We have, I would say there's probably about a good season's worth of balls, maybe more, out in the thickets there in the area between the ground here at Exton Park and the creek. And of course, you might catch on our cameras an odd cyclist or a runner behind here. There's a very nice trail behind the ground here at Exton Park. Punched through to the offside, but they did not go through for a run. Stopped the man there at mid-off. As we get towards the end of the season here, the final day of the regular season. And what is punched up in the air, 2 fielders are there, one of them takes it. And Bhatia makes the catch, and that is the end of Chiranchu Bhatia, I believe. In fact, he is gone for 30 from 26, but a nice little cameo from him. And the Philadelphians 152 for 5 midway through the 17th over.
That's exactly what the Empire State Titans would have wanted, to get rid of Chiru Bhatia, get a new man in, keep the pressure on. We saw a couple of 6s from him. But now just slicing one in the air, and Tapash Bhatia taking the catch, making it look easy in the end. As we see perhaps Mario Rampasad, I think, making his way out to the middle. But again, best case scenario, Tahidul Islam with the wicket. Get the new man in, try and keep the pressure on. Give him a few balls, as perhaps adjust. A few balls is a lot when you only 14 deliveries left. And given Chiru Bhatia was the big man, he was on 30 in the end. Hit a couple of 6s already in this over. Back in the hut.
It'll be interesting to see how the rest of this innings plays out now as we get down towards the tail. And Mario Rampersad, the man who's coming, they did cross, but Mario Rampersad, the man who's come across from St. Louis, from the west, well, at least from the western part, from East Bay. Thank you. And he's gone down the ground here. Oh, went for the catch, but just over. And has gone for a maximum effort on the fielding there, as Kwame Patton Jr. went for a circus catch, but ended up with nothing but peanuts.
Yeah, that would have been an amazing catch. He did get quite a bit of hand on it, but in the end it wasn't enough. The momentum, perhaps just taking it over for 6. So Anirudh Emmanuel getting into things now, and then driving this one away. They're running hard. They'll look for a second. Mario Rampasad is very quick, but that's very good fielding there to prevent it as just a single, but still a good over for the Philadelphians despite the loss of a wicket. 3 6s in that, 19 off it. It's 159 for 5 with 2 overs to go.
1, 2, 3.
attempt by the man in Kwame Patton Jr. might have been a Dafa News play of the day. Very, very close to being caught. 2 overs to go here. And by the way, Anirudh Emmanuel now on to 16. That is his highest in minor league cricket. As Adil Bhatti will come in for his final over.
This one down the ground, Garanshu Sharma in action, comes around quickly, just a single, and not sure if you were watching the Chicago Derby on Friday night at Hanover Park. We witnessed a brilliant bit of fielding in that game as well. Kwame Patton Jr. close to replicating it, but didn't quite get enough to hang on to the ball or even palm it back in. But still, gotta appreciate the effort.
Yeah, especially on a day like this. And you know what? We've said it. This game, no real effect on. We've had both of these teams playing their final game of the day, come what may. But you know what? They love cricket. They're professional cricket players. As that one hops over the wicket, he sort of alligator armed that ball, and no run there. And yeah, Matt, really, I mean, you know, we talk about one of the things you can't really see on the statistics, and we've talked about, you know, the three of us on the call today have talked about wickets and runs and sixes and all these statistics. You can't really calculate the effort on some of these amazing catches that we've seen, some of these Dafa News plays as that one dribbles back down the pitch, no run.
Yeah, it really is, and it's something you really have to see in front of your eyes on the field. And it's something that has really come up with T20 cricket. High intensity. It's got everyone very pumped up, very excited on the field. Adil Bhatti bowling. Very good over here. Rampasad looks for a big one. He's pulled away. It's in the air. Lands safely. And another good bit of fielding, perhaps, but no, not good enough. It's gone away for 4. So a boundary to get Mario Rampasad off and running.
And there is much rejoicing from our right, and probably a little bit unlucky there, the fielder there, the man behind cover, and it looked like he caught a thick edge, got a lot of air underneath that, and tried to get to that one and batted that one unintentionally over the line, and it's a boundary for Mario Rampasad, who goes to 4.
Chaitanya Pawal, the man out there, valiant effort from him. And players like Chaitanya Pawal and Kwame Patton Jr., youngsters coming into the team, have that kind of intensity. Because you might not always get to showcase talent with bat or ball, but you can always showcase the talent in the field. That's a never-ending job.
And again, it's not always quantifiable. You know, there are players who do have a pretty high number of catches, and you do see that in the score sheet. But it's also about the hustle. It's also about getting to the ball. And when you have somebody as athletic as Kwame Patton Jr. and some of these other players who we've highlighted during the course of the day getting to the ball, that really, really does show you a lot.
Down the ground again, low full toss. There he is, Kwame in action. So 7 of the over, another good one. He's had a very good day with ball in hand, Adil Bhatti. It's 166 for 5. Final over coming up.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah. Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
So Tapesh Bhatia will come in to bowl the final over for the Empire State Titans, and it is a very Oprah scoreline. You get a wicket, you get a wicket, you get a wicket. All 5 bowlers in the attack this afternoon have picked up a wicket. The best figures would be Garanshu Sharma, 1 for 17. Bhatia has allowed 32 from his 3, and he'll try to put the clamps on this one to try and keep the Philadelphians to a manageable total. They're at 166 for 5. Projected score based on ratios and all that mathematics and arithmetic is 174. We'll see how they do, but you have to feel, Matt, that these two in the middle are going to have their tails up. Mario Rampasad and Anirudh Emmanuel will have their tails up, especially Emmanuel on a top score of 18.
And a big swing and a miss from the young man to start things off. So advantage Tapash Baisia so far. Round 1 will go to him. Still 5 deliveries left. And 5 deliveries can be a long time in T20 cricket. We'll see Anirudh Emmanuel and Maria Ramprasad will have to maximize these overs, these 5 deliveries remaining. Striking the pad, they'll hustle through for a single.
That last one, Matt, I think it kept a little low, I think, and Emmanuel swinging over top of that one. Very unpredictable, this artificial wicket. And, you know, going back and watching the replay last week and hearing from a couple of weeks ago and also hearing the descriptions of it from colleagues of ours such as Nate Hayes, it almost reminds me of the old Veterans Stadium turf here in Philadelphia. They joked that it would be softer to play on the Interstate 95 that goes by. But, you know, it's not obviously a different than, say, your football artificial turf, but it's still the same idea. It's basically an artificial surface on top of a layer of concrete. But still unpredictable. You sort of get that tennis ball bounce, and sometimes you get that those balls that do manage to keep low just like they do on the turf.
Hammer down the ground from Ramprasad. They'll push for 2 and a bit of a misfield out there. Allows them to come back for a couple of runs. These two running between the wickets I don't think will be much of a problem. Anirudh Emmanuel, still young, fresh legs of his, and Mario Ramprasad. If you look at all of the Philadelphians pre-game training sessions, Mario Ramprasad tends to beat his teammates all the time in the running races. Very quick between the wickets is Mario Ramprasad with 3 deliveries to go. I always say if you can't find the boundary, getting those 2s and 3s are the best thing. On the ground again from Ramprasad. They'll push for 2. They've got to push for all they get, but this time a cleaner pickup and throw from Kwame Patan allows just a single.
And remember, because there's 2 of them running at the same time, you're quick on one side, you have to be quick on the other side, and when you're quick, those 1s become 2s, the 2s become 3s. So it is very important for a guy like Ramprasad who has a man in Emmanuel who is so quick. Someone is driven to the offside. They'll come through for a single and think about 2. And they are going to come through and take a second pretty easily. And you see it right there. A ball that probably is won with 2 other batters in the middle. And they get a couple out of that one. As we head into the final ball, the Philadelphians 172 for 5.
It's been a great comeback from Tapash Baisia. First over went for 11, second for 15. But his next 2 have gone for 6. And this one as well. 6 off it so far. Last ball, Anirudh Emmanuel swings it away. Has he found the gap? Yes, he has. So Philadelphians finish off with a boundary, shorter one from Tapash Baisia, and pulled away from Anirudh Emmanuel. Finishes off on a high. And the Philadelphians 176 for 5.
Yeah, very good finish from this bowling attack from the Empire State Titans. Between the 8th over and the final over, they only allowed more than 10 runs once, and that was in the 18th over when Islam went for 3 6s and a single, but he did take the wicket, so at least you have that. So the Philadelphians finished their innings, the final offensive innings of this 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket season presented by Sunoco on 176 for 5. A quick look at the score sheet, Matt. We'll wrap things up and take a little bit of a break. Milan Kumar, top scorer to captain's innings, 68 off of 40, 4 4s and 5 6s. Derek Narine never really got going, 8 for 10 before being caught and bowled by Bhatti. Jonathan Fu had a good run, 25 from 10 before being caught. Sharma bowled by Bhatia. Mayas Vakar, good knock, 8 before being caught and bowled by Sharma. Bhatia, who had the best run, I think, of the second half of the innings with 30. Anirudh Emmanuel, who put together a good run at the end, 25 not out. Ramprasad, 8 not out. 4 extras, 176. And a look at the bowlers, as we said, 1 wicket from each of the 5 bowlers. Sharma was the best, 1 for 17. Bhatti, 1 for 20. And then you had Ravi Chandran, 1 for 42. Bhatia also 1 for 42. And Tawal Islam, 1 for 55, perhaps a little bit too expensive. But considering that where we were, you know, maybe thoughts of 200 going through the brain for the Philadelphians, for them to limit to this total and this target of 177, probably not a bad place to end up.
Yeah, definitely. They really controlled those middle overs, though, did the Philadelphians in terms of the bowling. But then Anurad Emmanuel, Chirubati, and Rampasad at the end, getting some runs towards the back end. 176 for 5 at the end of 20. We'll be back after a short break.
Wait.
Hold the phone. Good job, Matt. That was fun. The whole thing's fun.
Yeah.
For his side. Anybody was going to get him out.
Kumar, that could be the first 6 of the afternoon. Deepak Kate goes upstairs. And that ball is struck well here from Milind Kumar.
Just how many roll you asked them.
So ball pulled into the onside, running up towards the straight mid-wicket boundary. And that will cross the tape now. That's another good-looking shot from Milind Kumar. He's all know how good he is. Look at that. Pulled into the onside, and that's gone along.
Otherwise, the Fire will win the division.
So look at that. So Adel Bati. Oh, through the offside, hammered away, and that's gone away for 4 off a free hit ball.
In the Atlantic Conference in wickets with 23, Sarjeet Singh Ladas. This one is hit and hit well down the track, and this one is out into the crops behind us. A massive, massive 6.
It's an Empire State. They're both locked at 12 points each. Oh, look at that. Short and pulled out of here, and that's gone a long way from Milind Kumar. Standpoint. Oh, pulled away. That's gone a long way. That's gone for the maximum. And Milind Kumar feasting on the deliveries here from Tawhidul Islam. The 50 comes up in just the 5th over. The Titans teams making changes into their lineup over the offside. And that will run away a very fast outfield here at Exton Park. And look at that. Jonathan Fu picks up a boundary. 27 so far. So what a start here from the Philadelphians. Oh, over the offside, and look at that. Jonathan Fu for another boundary. So this one, another short ball, and look at that. Jonathan Fu obliges, and this one goes straight down to the left, to the right of the side screen. And this
Chaitanya Pawal as well coming in.
Oh, look at this one. This one has gone a long way. It's gone far. And that has gone for 6 off the bat of Jonathan Fu. Jonathan Fu really teed off on him. The onside, that has gone a long way. And gone away for 4. Umpire Deepak Kate signals 4. And
Stones are always good, but it's a matter of when.
And look at that. That brings up the 50. So Milind Kumar pulls into the onside. That's gone.
This one in the air from Jonathan Fu. Work to be done. And a very good catch. Garanshu Sharma, it is. He's a very safe fielder and takes a very good catch. Wasn't an easy one.
Oh, good looking catch from Adel Bati. A good catch here from Adel Bati.
Yeah, next week.
So look at that. Milind into the onside. That's gone away for 4. That brings up the 100 and crosses Milind Kumar over 500 runs this season.
Yeah, but we'll see how they go in this fight.
So ball pulled away short and hammered into the onside of the bat of Shirubhatia. We'll have to wait and see if the fielder made a save there. In fact, he's gone away for 4. Deepak Kate, the umpire.
You know, they were expected to be at the top of this division.
Oh, Milind Kumar, look at that. He comes down the track. Wow.
Oh.
Has he taken that catch?
Yes, he has. For 68 off of 40.
So Tawhidul continues. This one is high in the air, and it's got the distance as well. So Chirubhatia with a shot of intent.
is intent as we come down through these final 3 overs, Matt. And there's another one down the track, headed that one out towards the trail once again. And that one has, in fact, towards the end of the season here, the final day of the regular season. And what is punched up in the air, 2 fielders are there, one of them takes it. And Bashia makes the catch, and that is the end of Chiranchu Bathia, I believe, from East Bay. Thank you. And he's gone down the ground here. Oh, went for the catch, but just over. And has gone for a maximum, but maximum effort on the fielding there.
Matty bowling. Very good over here. Rampasad looks for a big one. He's pulled away. It's in the air. Lands safely. And another good bit of fielding, perhaps. As well. 6 off it so far. Last ball. Anirudh Emmanuel swings it away. Has he found the gap? Yes, he has. So Philadelphians finish off with a boundary, shorter one from Tapash Baisia, and pulled away from
Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.
You back to Exton Park with the news. The Empire State Titans, they require 177 to win from 120 balls. Back with me, Brian, alongside me, Brian Barish. Another big innings here for the Empire State Titans as we come down to the last 20 overs here at Exton.
Philadelphians side, the bowling attack that's been depleted over the last couple of weeks. Of course, we've mentioned the fact that Liam Plunkett unavailable, but you know so it'll be very interesting to see how they go about this one.
So Keon Joseph has been given the ball towards the very latter stage of the tournament. Very quality bowler, having played for the West Indies junior team at one time, and will come into bowl to the tall wicketkeeper Christopher Van Tol. And here we go. Well, a chance for us to continue, and Sawan Patel has come out with him. Sawan has had a very good series. He certainly was one of the top batters. So Christopher Van Tol and Sawan Patel out in the middle. Keon Joseph will start, and they'll need 177 from 120 balls.
Joseph, you said, as you mentioned, Lenny, added late in this season. He's taken 2 wickets from 62. Those are his first over 8 overs so far. So he's been good for a wicket in each of the games he's appeared in so far.
So playing a miss here, starts with a wide. Umpire Mihir Patel, a couple of umpires out of the New Jersey area. Mihir Patel, Brian, you would have seen him several times during the course of this minor league series, prominent in the mix.
Yeah, there's a few that we've seen in calling games, not only calling games here in Exton Park, but seeing games in Sir County Park, seeing games up in Howell and Idlewild Park in New York. This is a very good stable of umpires that we see come out of the tri-state area. Both of them, the New York tri-state area and the Philadelphia tri-state area as well.
And I'm surprised Van Tol just ambling how confident he is that will go away for 4.
Up very nicely, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle Keon Joseph. You know, interesting that they're giving him the ball to start. We mentioned that, you know, this game is probably a good game of the season, so giving Keon Joseph the ball here, really a good test for him to see how he handles this sort of environment in this competition.
Oh, a slashing shot through the offside, and Van Tol, couple of 4s. That's a lovely shot for 4.
Yeah, beautiful shot for Van Tol, who his highest score so far in play here is 53, which came last season, 46 this year. And a man who knows how to find the boundaries, as he hit 6. He's hit 6 so far, and he's connected with a couple here so far in the opening over.
Yeah, you saw that one outside the off stump from Van Tol playing through the line of the delivery. You just saw the ball scurrying away very fast outfield. And Brian, I thought this outfield is a lot quicker than we saw a couple of weeks ago. And that have been, of course, we're deep into August. The ball goes through to the keeper. So.
Yeah, and everybody's going to need to be tidy. And it's not just the veterans like Bhatia and Kumar, the ones who they've really relied on in the absence of Liam Plunkett and some of the other players who they've been missing over the course, like off and on during the course of the season. We mentioned Trinson Carmichael, who they were very high on. He didn't start bowling until a couple of weeks ago when we were here for the festival. He needs to be a lot less expensive.
A ball hanging in the air for some time, perhaps one of the better balls we've seen here from Joseph. But another single here from Van Tol, and now brings into strike Sawan Patel.
Yeah, Patel will come to the strike. That's probably one. If you're not familiar with cricket, the first 6 overs of each team's at-bat is what's called the power play. There's a circle there about 30 yards, 35 yards around the pitch. Only 2 players from the defensive team can be stationed outside of that, and the idea is to induce or possibly entice the batting team to swing a little bit more freely because there aren't as many fielders out there. You can hit it over the infield, through the infield, the ball roll a little bit, get a lot more 4s and 6s. So you can see that's probably one that maybe there's a chance for a catch, but because there's only 2 players outside, it fell harmlessly.
So Joseph gets a very good delivery, will scamper through with what could be his first run. No signal from the umpire. Better delivery here from Joseph in this over. I know Sawan Patel, he's just gotten off the mark. Sawan Patel, couple of 50s. In fact, 150s and 340s. So this over's taken some while to get going. We've seen a couple of wides, and Joseph will come into bowl to Christopher Van Tal. Oh, look at that. Slashing shot through the offside. And another boundary here for Christopher Van Tal.
Yeah, he's done very, very well to really pick out some of those, and he picks out a thick edge there and does very well to get another 4, and they go on to 16. And Van Tal, more like Christopher Van Tal because of his height. That was a pun, and you knew it was coming. And he stands back in.
Lovely shot again through the offside. He is really tired.
Fishes that the Philadelphians acquired in the offseason draft, and they were hoping to have a full season from him. As it is, he came in about the midway point, but has done very well in this stretch in order to keep them to this target of 177. A good amount of spin, and we're going to see this display very early from the Swidsford Road end, Lenny.
Yes, Brian, and the fact is Carmichael last year with the Empire State Titans, so he comes up against them today. Starts pretty well. Quality spinner. Philadelphian perhaps have missed the services of Kareem Agor.
Very much so. I mean, he was one of the ones that when they had him as part of the attack, and him suffering that injury in the game against the DC Hawks. I think he did get a chance to play last weekend, but yeah, they really missed him. As we mentioned Plunkett, but Gore's been a key piece of that equation as well.
So ball flicked into the onside. Sawan Patel wants a couple of runs, but no, says Christopher Van Tal. So the exciting Christopher Van Tal comes back into strike. We saw in the previous over taking on his fellow Guyanese, Keon Joseph, and that battle, of course, we all saw before our very eyes, won handsomely by Christopher Van Tal.
Yeah, slashing the ball to that part of the field to our right, the soccer field side where the dugouts are. A lot of Guyana talent in this league, especially in this Eastern Division. Van Tal we mentioned. Look at around some of the other teams. We mentioned Anthony Bramble, Dominic Ricci here in the Philadelphians with Jonathan Fu. Went to Albion. See, I listen when you talk.
And Carmichael is also Guyanese.
And Carmichael as well, yep. So,
yes, Brian. And I made mention of the Albion connection because quite a few players, Bishu from Albion, yep. Jonathan Fu from Albion. We saw Gudakesh Moti, who couldn't come this year because of West Indies duty. Ball sliding down the leg side. Good take here from Mario Rampersad. He's one of the best in the business, Mario Rampersad.
And it's interesting, he has the gloves today, but late in the season, they actually turned to Jonathan Fu. Even when, a situation when Plunkett was out, that one is defended to the offside, right to a fielder. There is no run. It's interesting to see, they brought him in to be the main wicketkeeper, but they used Jonathan Fu a lot in that wicket-keeping role. So he's back with the gloves today.
So quality over here from Carmichael. Just a couple of runs, and that will complete over number 2. And after 2, Empire State Titans replying to 176. They're batting at 18 without loss.
1, 2, 3.
Well, it looks like they're going back to Keon Joseph. 16 runs in the opening over, and Trinson Carmichael coming in with a very, very good over, allowing just 2. And we'll see how he goes. The 159 more required from the final 18 overs for the Titans.
So ball cut away. Good feeling here from Carmichael. And so that's a better start to Keon Joseph. The investment by the Philadelphians to get some quality fast bowler in the last couple of years have really... We saw last year, Keon Joseph came, Jeremy Gordon was the Canadian international. He was part of the lineup. And this year we saw Drysdale being part of that lineup. So the Philadelphians, it appears, have always targeted the area of getting some really good quality express space bowlers.
It's interesting to see every team's, each of the team's philosophy when it comes to that. A lot of times they think, well, you know, variety is the spice of life when it comes to the bowling attack. But for the Philadelphians, yeah, and that you mentioned Drysdale. We mentioned Liam Plunkett on a number of occasions. He's a good pace bowler that has that really wicked swing that we saw in his early days with the Philadelphians.
Oh, what an attempt here from Milind Kumar. Well, Sawan Patel escapes, getting a tick outside edge, and it flew and into the hands of Milind Kumar. It was going to be a Dafa News, perhaps, catch of this match. But in the end, it escapes. It's 19 on the board.
And Kumar is counting his fingernails after that one. And I'll tell you what, he laid out very nicely. And we mentioned Patton making that circus catch, not maybe as trapeze-like as Patton's, but still the effort there, and you could see his charges, making sure he knows that his effort is appreciated, as now he takes his position at first slip.
Oh, big inside edge onto the pad, so Van Tull continues to look aggressive. He's intent in scoring quickly. And Brian, just coming back, I'm pretty sure when the season ends, if we were to take the top 50 or the top 40 outstanding catches of this series, it's going to be a long list. But I pity those grung that didn't have more than a one camera to really pick up some of the outstanding catches we've seen. We saw this very grung taken by Marvin Darlington. But on that day, I don't think that the camera followed that ball, that particular ball. But we have seen some lovely catches. Mahesh Ram at one time would have taken an excellent catches, may not have been picked up by one of those ball follow cameras.
Well, next year is a new year, and maybe we'll see the expansion of coverage in this Toyota minor league cricket season. Catches the call, catch is made, and a beautiful catch made there by the man in Keon Joseph. He gets the wicket, and that one was fisted off the gloves. He was in flight, so he makes up for that expensive for 13, and the Empire State Titans 19 for 1. Huge catch.
Yeah, short ball and trying to pull his Van Tull, but the pace may have undone him. So that's the end of Christopher Van Tull. Look attackingly, very, very intentful, but in the end he falls, and 19 for 1 at the moment. So Chaitanya Parwal comes to the middle, and he replaces Van Tull. Keon Joseph. A bit of success for him here, Brian, but he would have gone for some 16 runs in the first over. Good comeback.
Third game for the Philadelphians. Respect, and they've wanted that from him, and now let's see if that settles the nerves down after that big, expensive first over.
So ball worked into the onside. Parwal gets off the mark quickly and hands the strike over to Sawan Patel. Sawan Patel, in fact, that will complete over number 3, and after 3, it's 20 for 1.
My son, he's so soft-spoken. Oh, yeah! Everyone says he's so good looking.
Toyota, let's go places.
Trinson Carmichael, and to continue for the Philadelphians. We're trying to keep the Empire State Titans in check here, 20-for-1 after the big wicket of the wicketkeeper in Van Tull. A big swing and a miss by Savan Patel, rather by Parwal. And Lenny, Trinson, Carmichael, we talk about how much pace they have, but Carmichael doing very good in terms of bringing a very good spin attack. We've mentioned the couple of three-throws he's taken, and it does very well to complement all of that pace that the men in yellow and black can offer on the bowling attack.
Yes, Brian, we saw Carmichael last year playing alongside Damian Jacobs. Some gun cricketer pulled into the onside. Fielder settles under it, takes the catch, and that's the end of Parwal. So 20-for-2. We'll take a look at this one, Brian.
Yeah, and Carmichael again, we said that this balance between pace out there did Parwal, and got underneath it just a little bit, and he has to go. And so the numbers on Parwal, he is gone for 1, and the Empire State
That's Maze.
So Mays Vicar comes up with a well-judged catch. Carmichael picks up 1. And so 2 wickets down here. Brian Kwame Patan Jr. comes to the middle.
a very good start for the Philadelphians here, putting the clamps on early.
So to all our viewers, this is a very important game. While it may not really impact who goes through, in fact, we all 3rd or 4th position. And so this match essentially for who will be number 3. 4 of us gone, 20-for-2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
They got a full team? They got a full team? So Keon Joseph will continue. 2 overs, no men, 1 for 18. And we'll come into bowl to Sawan Patel. 20-for-2, Brian. So he starts well, Joseph, as he comes into bowl to Sawan Patel. And earlier on, Brian, I did hear you trying to educate some of the viewers who are not well up to date with the ever-changing rule of the modern game. Got to be honest with the fielding restriction as it concerns power play. There's another thing about cricket as you watch from your screen, the white ball being used. If you see some other versions of cricket and you see they play with the red ball. Oh, that's a lovely shot. 4 written all through that ball off the bat of Sawan Patel. And that's a classy looking shot from Sawan Patel. 24-for-2.
That's the first time I think that anybody other than Christopher Van Tull has really got a beat on that one, and that one was beautifully stroked by Savan Patel. You know, and of course, you talk about things changing. You talk about the white ball, you talk about the red ball. There's also the pink ball now as well with matches. And those are, just to give you an idea, the red ball matches, when we talk about those, those are games that are played usually where each team bats twice, and there's usually no over limit. There's a time limit in a sense. Running in, Trinson Carmichael makes the stop, and that is a dot ball.
Yes, Brian, the red ball reserved for first class and test cricket. And that's the one you play with white clothes. And yeah, you made up you brought up the point, the ping ball. That's a new innovation into day and night test.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're watching the white ball that has really become popular. That has been the ball league 2022 championship presented by Sunoco as we watch Joseph along nicely here. He's a quality player. And we're in the 5th over, 25 for 2.
And Joseph, he's gone from being very expensive to a very tidy over, and now he's kind of middling out there. He's given up 5 off of 4 balls. But this is a lot better from him. He's getting his lengths a little bit, getting his lengths right. It's a little bit better. And even though they have already hit for the 1 boundary here, I think overall so far with 2 balls left, it's a lot more improved. And we see that.
Young Kwame Patan Jr., we saw him not too long ago. Kwame Patan Jr., an amazing catch to dismiss Milind Kumar. Oh, cut away, up and over. And it goes into the vicinity of Derek Narain, only a single. But that's a good-looking shot from the young man.
Yeah, very good shot there, and that's sort of, when you see the ball go backwards like that, it's usually not so much a ball making contact with the bat coming forward. It's usually the bat sort of left out there, territory, unlike baseball, of course, but here it's a very three-dimensional game, and a lot of times you can use it to their advantage, and he was able to do that, dropping it just in front of the fielder.
So Joseph doesn't deliver, and Brian, while we want to finish up here talking about the ball, some of the big producers of the ball, high quality ball, has to be like the Kookaburra. You get a chance to hold or feel one of those balls. They're not only good quality, but they're very expensive.
which is why every effort when they go and hit one out in the trees over there, every effort is expounded before they go and get a new one.
Good slice on this one. Derek Narain is the man posted out there. So that will complete over number 5. And after 5 is 27 for 2. Matthew will come into the box to join Brian.
लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट।
Empire State Titans 27 for 2 in this final over of the power play. And it is the captain, Milind Kumar, who will come into the attack. And as Matthew Achabar joins me, Matthew, pretty good start so far for the Philadelphians. You think they'd be the happier of the two sides as we begin this next set of 5 overs?
Yeah, the required rate is up over 10. The current run rate for the Titans is only 5.4, less than run a ball. But this one is smashed down the ground for a boundary first ball from Sawan Patel. And not the best of greetings to the Philadelphians captain. Sawan Patel helps himself to a boundary.
We mentioned, how it will be up to these veteran players like the Milind Kumars, like Transu Bhatia, to be a little bit more tidier than somebody like Keon Joseph. That's going to be close, and a direct hit probably would have put him in some danger, but they do scramble through for a single. So to be able to get a boundary off of Milind Kumar first ball is a big for Savan Patel.
So Kwame Patan Jr., the young man, able to get a single. Handing things over to Sawan Patel. Big rebuild ahead of these two. And whoever else come, the likes of Garanshu Sharma and Adil Bhatti, providing some bit of batting depth still to come for the Empire State Titans. But at the moment, it's Sawan and Kwame. And after the loss of Vantal and Chaitanya Pawal, you'll feel these two will have a lot of work to be done to try and build a partnership. But it's not.
Yeah, you have to really kind of put yourself in and make sure you get a boundary or two out of every over here. And but you also don't want to do anything stupid. It's that interesting balance in this T20 game.
And 120 deliveries is a much longer time than a lot of people think it is. Down the pitch comes Sawan Patel and picks up another boundary. There's no one there. So good over this is turning out to be for the Empire State Titans. Good shots of intent from Sawan Patel.
And they were, you know, it's interesting how well he mentioned, Matt. They needed to rebuild this somehow. And, you know, they've really been kept in check here in the early going after that 16 run over. That one is knocked back to Milan Kumar. There is no run. And that will do it for the 5th over. For the 6th over, that's the power play in the books. The Empire State Titans are 37 for 2.
1, 2, 3.
$37 for 2. That over has evened things out a little bit. We saw the loss of Christopher Van Tol and Chaitanya Pawal, but now Sawan Patel on the charge. A couple of boundaries in the.
Bhatia, the first weekend that we were here, Matthew, he took a fifer and really, you know, we thought might have set the tone for the Philadelphians against probably a little bit of an overmatched New England Eagles side, but a team that, of course, they came back the following day and beat DC Hawks. But, I mean, they come through for a single as that one is cut to the offside.
We always mention that the Philadelphia all-rounders that can do it all. Chirubate is one. Milan Kumar. Even Trinson Carmichael, we haven't seen him a whole lot with the bat, but we do know he can give it a swing. Jonathan Fu, we've seen him with the gloves a lot, but can also ball and ball quite tidy. Anirudh Emmanuel is another up-and-coming all-rounder. We would have seen Abdullah Saeed, not so much with the ball, but definitely with bat in hand throughout this minor league. I think has bowled at all in this minor league. But even back in New York at the lower level, as Derek Narayan, very handy bowler, has a bit of a what should I say, unorthodox action. But Derek Narayan can bowl as well. Good short ball there by Chiru Bhatia.
They're looking for a wide. They're calling for it and not given, I believe. In fact, incredulous there. But in fact, not given. And you know what? And you know, listen, he's not, he's a guy who, we mentioned just kind of looking in the lead up. He really never came in T20 internationals and at the domestic level really never came in any higher than 5 or 6. Big swing, but that's going to get by Rampersad, and they're going to
made a big move from the San Diego Surf Riders. A quick couple of runs taken. San Diego Surf Riders to the Atlanta Lightning, which may have benefited him a little bit more given the contrast of seasons the Lightning and Surf Riders have had. But that's the end of 7 overs. We'll get back to some of those big moves. It's 41.
My son, he's so soft-spoken.
Oh, yeah!
Everyone says he's so good-looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your trousseau, the 2022 Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
Empire State Titans 42 for 2 after 7 overs as Milan Kumar will come back into the attack after giving up 10 runs in his first over. Absolutely beautiful day, Mark, and a good crowd has built up to see the Philadelphians for the final time this season here at Exton Park. Brian Barish and Matthew Achabar as Kumar trying to talk about these big crosses. It would be interesting to see how they go forward in the future as this competition expands, as that one is doing a good job there. But yeah, with Major League Cricket, this one is hit in the air. Jabbar coming in, man coming out. He just went through his hands. Jabbar is there to clean it out. It was Jonathan Fu who saw that one go right through his hands. And a big drop there, but he had, much like a man who's forgotten to mow his lawn in a month, he had a lot to do.
Yeah, big run there, running backwards, not easy for Jonathan Fu. Down the track from Sawan Patel. Fielder takes the catch, Derek Narayan. Sawan Patel. So another wicket falls, it's the third one down. Sawan walks back, but a good catch taken by Derek Narayan.
And Patel probably going to the well 1-2 often. He blasted 3 4s, but a good job by Derek Narayan, who came in 3 steps and took a can of corn catch. So Patel's got to go for, what is that, 23, and they are 45 for 43 for 3.
So they ran 2 off that last ball. Garanshu Sharma, Manhattan Yorkers to the Empire State Titans, has had a much more difficult season, perhaps in terms of runs. May not be entirely up to the standard we'd expect from in just a matter of deliveries. All it takes is to get a good couple of knocks off the bat, and all of a sudden you're flying, get a 50, push on even further than that.
We take a look at the run rate. The asking rate is 10.56, and that is a lot. And they're going to need to hit the ball with a little bit more authority, but they won't turn down singles like that as that squirts through for a single. As that takes them on the 46 for 3, and Sharma gets off the mark alongside Kwame Patton Jr., who was made a lot of really, as we mentioned, there's a fair bit of speed from him, and he's very athletic. And that brings a lot when you bat, because you can take that extra little, those 1 become 2s, etc. One is cut to the offside, and they'll amble through for another single. We are keeping an eye on some of the other matches that are happening here, even though this match won't impact the playoff picture. Doing a little bit of scoreboard watching, and we'll catch you up on that in the next over. As the final day of this Toyota 2022 minor league cricket season presented by Sunoco, and with our friends Dafa News and local sponsors here in Philadelphia, Parks and Parks Bet, the season comes to a rollicking finish.
Push for a couple of runs here. Get it quite easily in the end. Kwame Patton Jr. goes up to 7. So that's the end of the 8th over. Not a bad one from Milind Kumar. Picked up the wicket of Sawan Patel. 49 for 3.
One, two, three.
Platani, Rampasad, even Valis Samagari coming down from the Dallas area, Najaf Shah, much more. But I can't really think of many from the east or the south that have gone to the central. I think the only 2 I can think of is the former Fire duo of Rishi Bharadwaj and Akhilesh Budagum, who have gone to Seattle. Other than that, I can't really think of any Atlantic players who have gone to the Pacific.
Well, there's Justin Dill, who went to St. Louis. I think that's about it.
That's probably the biggest one. And now Trevon Griffith.
Trevon Griffith, yeah, as well. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see which of the players in the West, considering how dominant the Western teams have been in those divisions, and we've seen especially the teams at the top. I mean, those divisions are 3-4 team races even halfway through the season. So we'll have to see as this goes. This one is flicked off the pads, and as that one is hit the point and come through for a single. And and again, every season, we talk about how many players, how different some of these teams are, including Empire State, only retaining 1 player from last season. And so, and who knows what these teams are going to look like.
We've seen drastic changes. We've seen the likes of the Florida Beamers and the Atlanta Paramveers not being part of this year's campaign. We've seen new teams like the Atlanta Lightning and the Chicago Tigers as well coming in.
Of course, they replaced the Chicago Catchers,
Yep.
and the Tigers, we mentioned the playoff picture. They will be playing in the finals. They clinched a spot thanks to the team ahead of them, the Dallas Mustangs. That one is ripped to the offside. And a good diving stop there, but it just eludes them. They will come through for two. Let's see if it does, in fact, hold up as two, and it did. A great job by the man out there at cover and deep extra cover to stop them. But, yeah, Dallas and hosting Michigan. Michigan had to win both of those games to catch the Chicago Tigers. It didn't happen today as the Michigan Cricket Stars fell to the Dallas Mustangs by 8 wickets.
Another tough loss for Michigan. If you recall last year, they narrowly missed out on the playoffs last year as well. And now again, narrowly missing out on the playoffs this year.
And of course, they'll play the Silicon Valley Strikers. Dallas, meanwhile, their opponent, either the East Bay Blazers or the Seattle Thunderbolts, who are trying to chase down 111 against the Golden State Grizzlies. And that might be a relatively straightforward task. I think they have to do it. We were saying that they had to do it. In fact, we're going to need to check on this. I think they've actually done it.
And if I'm not mistaken, the Thunderbolts needed to get 111 in about 9 or 10 overs or so, and they've done that in 7.1 overs. So we'll have to look at the table now. But that in the meanwhile over here at Exton, it's the end of 9. It's 53 for 3. East Bay is gone. Seattle got it. Needed to make 111 in 9 overs. They did it in 7.1. I don't even know.
Dallas.
Dallas.
So 10 overs gone, 68 for 3. They still need 109 from 60 ball. Lots of cricket left in this one, Brian, as the Empire State Titans and the Philadelphians enjoying similar record coming into this match. But at the end of this one, we'll find out who will be number 3. Manhattan Yorkers and the New Jersey Stallion taking 1 and 2. And now we come down to the last 60 balls. Welcome back, Brian.
Yes, thanks, Lenny. Thanks for joining me here once again. And the oh, is that a catch?
Yep.
Yes, it is. The safest of hands you could trust a baby with. And he takes a big wicket here, and that may have changed the stream of time. The first ball there, as who was that got out? It was Kwame Patton Jr. who has to go. And so the Empire State Titans, after 10.1 overs, are 68 for 4. No, he just came in.
Batting or bowling?
Bowling.
Yeah, batting.
Listen, Adil Bati come in the back.
Yeah. Oh, no, we were talking about the bowler.
Oh, the bowler?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
That's him? So Sorapol Islam,
Okay, cool.
who, let's see if he bowled yesterday. In fact, he didn't. And so that's a huge wicket, Lenny. They are the Empire State Titans. Need 109 runs from the final 53 balls. The asking rate just a shade over 11 runs per over. And there the Philadelphians have wrenched control back of this one. And that's a huge wicket.
So Adil Bati comes to the middle. Still 100, asking 11 runs and over. I get the feeling, Brian, at this stage of the game, you've got to give the Philadelphians the edge for the time being. And if they do win this game, they will end up in the same position last year, finishing third.
A little bit of a different circumstance. They did actually have an outside chance of getting past these Empire State Titans and getting into that that runner-up playoff spot out of the East. It didn't happen, but considering all the injuries they've had, all the setbacks they've had, finishing third might not be too bad.
So lovely shot over the infield here from Goranshu Sharma. Fielded! A lovely shot here from Goranshu Sharma up and over the offside. And that's a lovely shot. Goes away for 4, but good fielding effort from the fielder.
Vakar, I believe that was, and that was his second attempt to make the Dafa News play of the day. And we've seen a few near misses. We've seen a few players, professional cricketers, folks.
So this one into the offside again from Goranshu Sharma. Still 103 still to win from 56 balls. Sorry, Paul Islam, the bowler.
Dad walking into his kid's messy bedroom. He still's got a lot to do to clean things up here. All right, that one didn't work as well, but you get the idea. That one is cut and just off the outside. The backwards point will come. Absolutely beautiful day. As we've said, not as warm as some of the other games that the three of us have been out here. A little bit of a breeze. Still a decent crowd. I'm not sure. There's a few that are on the creek end where Islam is running in from, hiding under the trees. It's a good shady spot.
So Sharma goes up and over into the offside again. And look at that. That has gone away for 4. Found the
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
The final day of the regular season, the 2022 minor league cricket season. A minor league cricket season presented by Sunoco. For more information about all the games and, of course, for information in terms of the playoffs and the finals weekend, Morrisville, North Carolina, August 27 and 28, go to minorleaguecricket.com. And, hey, If you're anywhere near the area, you're not doing anything in a couple of weeks, come out to Church Street Park in Morrisville. If you're interested in coming, tickets are free, but it's a good idea to register for them. You can do it on minorleaguecricket.com. I see your smiling faces for a great evening and weekend of cricket. The Atlantic Conference Championship will be Sunday, August 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Pacific Championship will be 5 o'clock under the lights, and then the championship Sunday, August 28th. The granddaddy of them all, $150,000 on the line.
So ball worked into the offside by Adel Bati, a player who has played at the U.S. national level already. Garanshu Sharma comes back in. Abdul Jabbar, of course, is the bowler, and the boys have done well to defend 176 so far. But still some ways to go here, Brian. 52 balls still to be bowled.
I like the way that A.J. Mohammed goes about the game. And, he played very well when we saw him a couple of weeks ago, or last weekend, against the New England Eagles.
Well, this one punched into the offside. Oh, he finally beats the man now. Getting a very awkward bounce. Was on his knees trying to block that one. But in the end, a very awkward bounce. And the rest, it means the ball.
When you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
So Shiro Bhatia gets a recall here, Brian. 2 overs no win, none for 7. Very tidy stuff, but you get the feeling that we come down to the last 48 balls and 90 still to get here. So on the Empire State Titans.
Take out the driver, take out the Big Bertha, take out everything here. That's what they're going to need. Did he take another one? Yes, he did. That's 2 for Mario Rampersad. As he went to flick that one to fine leg, Mario Rampersad dives to his left. That could be a definite. That was Bhatia has to go for 8 from 6, and the Empire State Titans are 87 for 5.
Yeah, good sometimes, Brian. You still do need a specialist keeper. At times, we made the point, or Matt made the point earlier on. We've seen Jonathan Fu a lot with the gloves here for the Empire, for the Philadelphians. But Mario Rampersad, he is in the team as a specialist wicketkeeper. And sometimes it is those little moments that makes a big difference. Mario Rampersad with a very good catch hanging down the leg side. And that's the end of Adel Bati. 87 for 5. And so the Empire State Titans under pressure here to win this one.
Divik Ravichandran comes to the middle with his team still needing 90 runs from the final 47 balls. And, still very much a lot to do. The asking rate 11.5 runs per over, Lenny. And it's the sun is setting on this day and may very well be setting on this game for the Empire State Titans.
Yes, Brian, and of course at the end of this round, certainly teams will be trying to assess what went wrong, what worked, what didn't work. They will have to review their personnel that they picked this year. Bhatia will come into bowl to Ravichandran. Similar ball that got the dismissal of Adel Bati, but this time it's a wide, signaled by umpire Mihir Patel.
Yeah, that was almost looked, from here it looked like the exact same ball and looked like the exact same play. Really have to do the gymnastics that he did to take those 2 catches.
Yes, Brian, there's no benefit of bowling down the leg side except when the batsman has a little tickle on it that we saw a couple of balls ago.
Well, yeah, that's a risk reward. Best case scenario, you get the wicket. Worst case scenario, you give up an extra. That one is knocked up 9 runs from his 2+ overs.
So the 7 teams that would have competed in the Eastern Division, New Jersey Stallions, Manhattan Yorkers, we made the point. A couple of teams at the top of the table. Empire State Titans and the Philadelphians, they're locked here for number 3. And then, of course, Brian, we saw the likes of we saw the likes of DC Hawks, New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, and the New England Eagles being part of our Eastern Conference.
Yeah. So the Somerset Cavaliers, they can move up into 5th, and they would displace the DC Hawks. The New England Eagles will
still batting to come. Vidyut Rajagopal, he's making his debut today. And then, of course, we've got Tauhidul Islam, Tapash Paisya, Keval Patel still to come. But you get the sense with 5 wickets back in the shade, Brian, that's essentially the cream of the crop, so to speak. Yeah, looking to cut. The ball may have come back. Good bowling here from Shiro Bhatia. We made the point. Would have picked up a 5-0 when he started on June 25th.
Seems like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
So very tidy over here from Shiro Bhatia. Only conceding 1 wide, Brian.
Yeah, and that's been the difference. And we noticed, we mentioned that the second half of the Philadelphians innings was a lot tidy. The Titans have managed to do a little bit more, but a big swing and a miss to end the over. And as we mentioned, just the 1 run off of it, it was a sundry. 13 overs in the books. The Empire State Titans 88 for 5, still needing 89 from the final 7 overs.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Mohammed will continue for the Philadelphians. And here in this final day of the 2022 Toyota Minor League season presented by Sunoco. And again, our thanks to them. Our thanks to Dafa News, our thanks to local sponsors Parks and ParksBet, and everybody else who has thrown their support behind this season so far. As that one is hit well. There's a man at the boundary. Oh, what a great job to keep the ball in play.
Kangura.
Oh, Kangura with a one-handed, almost a snag, but guess what? He didn't get the wicket, but he saved 4 runs on that one. That could be a Dafa News play, and I'll tell you what, Coach Raft, we're not just saying that because he's in earshot, but what a great play.
Yeah, Yash Kangura not playing today, but what an amazing save. That would have gone for 6, Brian. So saved 5 runs in the process. Ravi Chandran comes back into strike. That certainly will make the Daff. So this time in the region of Carmichael and Yash Kangura. Only a single here to Ravi Chandran. He finally gets off the mark. And still 87 to win from 40 balls.
You know, Matt and I talked about it when in the last innings. You know, we talk about, they do keep track of catches, and you do keep track of some of these other ways that you're impacted in the field, but just something like that is not going to show up on a score sheet. So that's something that, if you're looking at players for next season, who to retain and who to possibly pick up, looking at that and having the coverage as they scamper. He's one of the more underrated fielders and does such a fantastic job for this Philadelphian side.
So tidy over here so far from Abdul Jabbar. That's a lovely shot. Has he found the gap? No, he hasn't. And they'll come back for a couple of runs, but still a tidy over so far from Abdul Jabbar. Only 5 runs in this over. And the asking rate continues to climb here every over.
Roughly 23 run. I don't know. Let's do that elementary school math. 33 runs behind where the Philadelphians were at this point in the match, Lenny, and they still have that uphill climb. The question is whether it'll be Mount Whitney or Mount Kilimanjaro all day long. Where the Philadelphians, good over so far from Abdul Jabbar, but he has been helped very much by his outfielders.
So he comes down the track, Kangura, and that's one of the things we've seen so much. So hold up, the 14 overs gone, 94 for 5.
1, 2, 3.
Mato.
Surapol Islam back into the attack for the Philadelphians, a man who took a wicket rather in his very, very first ball. 6 and Slim and none are the chances, and Slim is packing his bags and getting ready to leave town as Islam comes in over the wicket. And that's another one, another thick edge and another wicket and another catch by Mario Rampersad. And the 94 for 6 as another man goes, another one bites the dust. And it is, in fact, Vivek Ravichandran who has to go, giving up scoring 4 runs for 10 balls.
So from the look of things, the Philadelphians will hold on to the number 3 spot. No movement from a year ago, Brian. Not a bad position to really be in when you consider New Jersey Stallions and Yorker played impressively well.
You know, we're just taking a look at just doing a little comparison from a season ago. The New Jersey Stallions finished first, as they will this year. Empire State Titans, who look like they're going to finish 4th, they finished 2nd. The Titans and the Yorkers actually flip-flopped from a season ago. The Yorkers finished 4th. They are going to finish 2nd no matter what. The DC Hawks, who are currently sitting in 5th, they finished 5th last year. It depends on how the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers do in their game against the New Jersey Stallions. And then they are going to lose, it sounds like. It looks like, other than the Yorkers and the Titans flip-flopping, the other thing is going to be the band with David Byrne, same as it.
So Tawhidul Islam comes to the middle, and his namesake Surapol Islam will be the bowler. And Brian, we've seen a couple of siblings playing in this minor league, and I'll jog your memory here as a good start here from Surapol to Tawhidul Islam. We saw the Trump boys.
Yes, we saw both of them as well.
Yeah, Ritwik Behera, Matthew mentions.
That's why he's behind. He's literally our backup man. He is our man in the slips. Nothing gets by us.
So ball outside the off stump, a play and a miss here from Tawhidul Islam. And that run rate continues to climb.
Looks like gas prices. Actually, gas prices are coming down. Well, we gotta stay somewhat topical. Maybe gas prices in the spring, but yeah, no, this is getting away from them very, very quickly with every passing ball.
So sorry, Paul Islam. Very quality over from him. A wicket with a couple of dot balls.
Defended. They scamper. No, it's a dot ball. Everybody convert over, doing a very good job, taking 2 wickets. And at the first ball of each over, of the 2 overs that he's bowled, he's managed to take a scalp. Doing very well, allowing just 11 runs.
So can't score. Ball going straight into the vicinity of Tristan Carmichael. And the Philadelphians posted Milind Kumar getting 68, crossing 500. So that's a maiden wicket off the bowling of Surapol Islam. 15 overs gone. 94 for 6.
Everyone says he's so good looking, and he never forgets to call.
Hi, Mom. Born for your true self. The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
$83 runs required from the final 30 balls. Very difficult task for the Empire State Titans. The Philadelphians are perched on the precipice of finishing in third place and winning their 7th game of the season to finish with an even record of 7-7. And Matthew Achabar, as we see out the final five over, it's A.J. Muhammad back into the attack.
Smashed away. And one bounce for into the fence from Garanshu Sharma, who's been the lone man fighting at the moment for the Empire State Titans. Top scoring with that shot of 25 of just 14 deliveries. Hasn't had the support at all. As Garanshu. And greets Abdul Jabbar nicely with a boundary. And you feel even Garanshu Sharma looking to go aerial again. Trinson Carmichael is brought into action. It'll be just a single. And you'd feel that Garanshu Sharma came to the crease in the 8th over. It's now the 16th over, and he's only faced Fick.
Yeah, this is the sort of innings, Matt, where this is kind of a... It's interesting kind of looking at when you look at some of these scorecards across the country and in these T20 matches, you look for some sort of salvation in an innings like this, especially close. Now you get to get back in safely. But they are looking for some sort of salvation and some way to keep things close, and especially when the boundaries have really not come. They've only hit 1-6 in this innings. It has come off the bat of Garanshu Sharma.
So could have easily been another one added, but still it shows that the commitment to the cause that all of these players have. And speaking of Kangura, there he is again. Despite this game not having much bearing in terms of any of these sides' playoff chances, despite the Empire State Titans needing about 18 runs and over, still brilliant moments like that define not only minor league cricket, but T20 cricket in general.
And also, these players, they're cricket players. Cricket's in their blood. You know, when you show up to play, and you're a cricket player, as they come down, you're going to finish off the over on a 4-1 hopping into the Toyota sign directly to the left of Matt and I. And at the end of the 16th over, they're 106 for 6. The Empire State Titans, they still are 75 runs adrift from the final 4. That 22 Toyota minor league season presented by Sunoco. He's given up 25 runs, and he's here to help see out this potential victory. They need 71 from the final 24. The asking rate is 17 3/4 runs. And this man who is really Garanshu Sharma standing on one side with 30.
Hasn't been a great day for the Empire State Titans at all in terms of the batting. Haven't showed up today. Who goes up to 4 with that? And still Tapash Baisia, Vidyut Rajagopal, and Keval Patel still to come.
It'll be interesting to see what the mindset is. I mean, they really need, all these runs. They need at least 2 or 3 boundaries. At what point, you don't want to get out cheaply, but at what point do you swing for the fences? You think almost sort of logically that, you don't want to swing at a bad ball, but, the hairs on the back of your neck need to stand up a little bit more, and you need to have that killer instinct if they...
So wide there by Keon Joseph. You always say that the best kind of wides are offside wides, given that the keeper doesn't have as much to do. There's not as much obstruction as it is for the leg side wides. Gotta make a couple of steps across, shield.
you have to have those quick reflexes, Matt. And it's almost like being a hockey goalie in a sense, or a soccer goalie really, because, there's a lot more room you have to maneuver. And we've seen even some of the catches, some of the ones that have been in the air that Mario Ramprashad has taken, it's that quick, you can't even think about it. It's just throw your body at the ball. It's not like playing in the outfield where, you do have that going along the ground. You have to just kind of throw yourself at the ball, and to be able to throw your hands out and at least, first of all, to even get something to the ball, let alone catch it. I don't think people realize who've never played that position or never played anything of that ilk, how difficult that is and how impressive it is when you're
Vincent Carmichael. And every over, every 5-run over that comes by, any over that isn't going for 20, 25 and over is just another blow to the Empire State Titans.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything from them. If we're talking pretty candidly, I don't really see anything from them that indicates to me that they're going to have much of a shout in terms of runs, 21 runs and over, and you're only. But that just shows you how well these players are bowling. And Keon Joseph, he's going to finish with, right now he's 1 for 30. But he's been so well. And there's another dot ball. Another brilliantly bowled over by Keon Joseph. Only 5 in it. And they are, 17 complete. 111 for 6 are the Titans.
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Let's see. The Empire State Titans need 66 runs from the final 18 balls. 22 runs and over required. That's 6 4s, 4 6s, some combination thereof. And for a team that has, by our calculation, only smacked 1 maximum. How about this bowling attack from the Philadelphians? 2 maidens amongst all these wickets.
Yeah, tremendous one from Trinson Carmichael, who's had a very good day. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of him. Good day for Chiru Bhatia as well. 3 overs, 1 for 8. Keon Joseph, we mentioned, and the man given the ball here. Change of ends for Saripul Islam, who has bowled 2 overs, 2 for 11, including a wicket maiden.
And for a team that has really had to dig down for depth from their bowling attack with all the injuries, we've mentioned Kareem Agor, we've mentioned Plunkett, sometimes maybe ad nauseum, and by we I mean me. I've been the one talking about it. But it's good to come back with the Philadelphians next year. Some of these other teams, it's a good resume to put forward as they continue their career.
Add more recently John Drysdale to that list as well. But we've seen the likes of Saripul Islam, Keon Joseph coming into the team. Quick runs taken here. Hayat Khan, we've seen, and even Shazad Hook, who came into the side later on. Chiru Bhatia, if you go into the all-rounders. So they've had to, as you mentioned, dig deep. They've had to bring in a couple of players like Shazad Hook and like Keon Joseph into the side. Trinson Carmichael, we saw, came around halfway into the season.
I'm surprised they hadn't gone to Jonathan Fu, because he's known to bowl the odd over or 2 as well. Smack down the ground, and Kangura on his horse. It'll be stopped in front of us by Derek Narine after they take another couple. That's perfectly okay, because 2s are not 4. Yeah, we mentioned, I'm surprised that they went with Fu, and obviously his bat much more effective. When they were really hurting for bowlers, you could tell that they didn't need to rely on him, because he ended up keeping in those spot situations. As we get towards getting very near the end, as John and Paul once said on a very good Beatles song. Of course, we mentioned the playoffs upcoming, and we hope you've enjoyed all of the matches during the course of this regular season. As that one, he got a thick edge on this one. It'll drop in front. They'll come back. They'll take 1 at least. And they'll take 1. on the MiLC network in Willow. As all the voices that you've heard over the course of the season will ring out once again as the conference semifinals next weekend. Those are best of 3 affairs, and that one is dropped just as Rampersad was going for his 4th to determine who will play for the conference finals on Saturday, August 27th. And then the championship game, August 28th. Those last 3 matches happening at Morrisville, North Carolina at Church Street Park.
Mario Rampersad took that. I might be even inclined to give him the player of the match.
Yes, the Toyota Tundra player of the match.
He has had an absolutely unreal day in terms of his glove work, his catching, has pulled off some very good catches. If he had taken that one, it would have just been another one to him. But 8 off the over from Soripol. It's 119 for 6. Philadelphians well on their way here.
He needs 58. 58 from 2 overs. So 58 runs required from 12 balls. The run rate 29 runs per over, and they're going to need 32 runs here to keep the game alive in the final over, at least in regulation bowling, because unless somebody has a brain explosion, they will only be able to get 36 runs off an over. And we look to see who is taking the ball from the creek end. It is.
He's had a very good day. 3 overs, 1 for 8 to his name. Could have had a maiden himself had he not bowled one that completed a wide. Rubatia has really asserted himself as one of the top all-rounders in this region the past few years or so.
Yeah.
Has improved tremendously in all that he does. We've seen his batting improve drastically from a player that last year was batting batsman and still has that versatility, can bat anywhere in the order. I can give you the goods with the ball as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it really can, and that's the sort of, as we say, all-rounding that teams look for. Almost took his kneecaps off. They'll come through 4-1. 2 is the call. No, just got back. As that takes him on to 40. And, you know, they're going to lose, it looks like at this point. But Garanshu Sharma, I mean, it's been a stout innings from him. 40 from 23.
And perhaps now just taking the time with this game pretty much done and dusted. It is in mathematical sense done and dusted now. The most they can do is hit 9 sixes from 9 balls to tie it.
Yeah.
But with this game seemingly done and dusted, it's perhaps Garanshu Sharma looking to use this game to his advantage to get back into strip in this year's minor league. Look at that. Has he picked out the fielder? No, he hasn't. It's gone all the way for 6. So there's a shot from Garanshu Sharma all the way. And one of the Dapper News shots of the week candidate from Garanshu Sharma.
And that's a season high for Sharma as he surpasses his old mark of 42 with a big 6, and he goes to 46, and only the second maximum of this innings for the Empire State Titans. That showed you how rough they've had it in terms of dealing with the Philadelphians bowlings, but now he can at least try and get to his half century. And he won't on that ball. A stifled appeal from Mario Rampersad, but the umpire says no dice, and Matthew will wrap up in the next over, because it appears that we will know our playoff matchups in a matter of probably a couple of minutes. The one piece remaining, all 8 teams we know, but in terms of the matchups, we'll find out in a couple of minutes, so we'll cover that in the last over.
Smashed. Full toss, and Garanshu Sharma does not need a second invitation. Hammers this one down the ground, brings up his 50 as well with that boundary of 27 deliveries. Great knock from Garanshu Sharma, all in vain. but still one that he'll enjoy. It's 132 for 6 with the final over coming up. They need 45.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
The regular season, Matthew, in this 2022 Toyota Minor League season presented by Sunoco. And as we mentioned, the playoff matchups, it appears, are going to be this way. The Morrisville Raptors, or it looks like they're going to get beat by the Atlanta Lightning. They need 14 runs off the final 40 balls. And one would think that unless they collapse with 8 overs are going to come in second, that the Atlanta Fire are going to win the South Division. It will be they who host the Manhattan Yorkers in that best of Stallions. Morrisville, I believe, and New Jersey hooked up last year.
Yeah, those two would have met last year, the Stallions, but this to me is a much better put together Raptors side from last year. A side of form, despite the loss against the Atlanta Lightning. We've seen over this weekend they've had a very tough mountain to climb to get into the playoffs, facing Atlanta twice and Lightning 3 times in the last few weeks or so. They've done that really aside in form at the moment.
And they've had I'm not to interrupt, but they've had a backloaded schedule,
yeah.
Especially since they had 2 games against Fort Lauderdale that they had to make up. One of them ended up being a forfeit because the Lions didn't have enough to field a team on Friday afternoon, as Islam will bowl the final 6 balls. As that one is, that is Jonathan Fu, and Fu has been greeted with a massive 6 into the crops behind us on the Sweetsford Road end. So it is Jonathan Fu. We talked about, he's wearing number 12 as well, which threw me off, but Jonathan Fu, we said, is a very, very part-time bowler, and almost appropriate, one of the few players who's played 2 seasons with the Philadelphians, that he got the final 6 balls in hand here in this season.
So the Atlanta Fire and the Manhattan Yorkers and the Morrisville Raptors and the New Jersey Stallions still unsure of where those games will be playing. But we do have some more bit of clarity in the Pacific. Dallas Mustangs coming up against the Seattle Thunderbolts, who pulled off an amazing chase by 0.6 of a difference in terms of their net run rate. That series will be played at Moosa Stadium. And then the Chicago Tigers and the Silicon Valley Strikers will meet at the Morgan Hill Cricket Complex. This one in the air as well, a loosener of a delivery from Jonathan Fu. They'll hustle through for a couple of runs. Abdul Islam looking to get one last bit of a tap on the Willow before the season, at least the minor league season's out. I'm sure he's still got lots of cricket left in the domestic campaign.
I'm scrambling to find, by the way, the percentages. One hopping over the rope for another 4. So it's going to be full of sound and fury, signifying nothing in the grand scheme of things. As we said, this game well and truly out of the hands, but at least they're going to make it close. Another boundary, the second of the over, and they've given off, again, Jonathan Fu, not generally a bowler, and I'll tell you what, he's working very, very. I was looking to see, Matthew, what the chances coming in to this final season, this final session of those clubs making it, as that one is cut to the offside, and that one will roll away for another 4. So it's party time, I guess, in defeat, Philadelphians.
Shahidul Islam taking a liking to Jonathan Fu here. And I'm sure the Empire State Titans might be asking themselves, why didn't you guys bowl Fu earlier?
Can you bowl us every week? Big swing and a miss there. And so the final ball of the game, the Philadelphians, and you know what? They fought and clawed their way. You know, when they were 4, the final margin will be 26 runs. But you can put this one in the win column for the Philadelphians. They have won, and a nice hand from the fans gathered here at Exton Park on a beautiful day and a great way to end the season and the regular season here at the Toyota 2022 minor league season presented by Sunoco. Matthew, we saw what in the end, you know, is a lot closer than what it really was in reality. It was a pretty comprehensive win with bat and ball for Philly.
Yeah, it really was. Despite there being a last game, no real chance of the playoffs for either one of them, we did see very good cricket. And the Philadelphians, a side that takes pride in any game they play, no matter the stakes, no matter the side, coming here again and getting another big win. They had almost having identical records. You feel had either of those teams won one or maybe even 2 games out of the 7 losses, or the 7 or 8 losses that they would have had, would have been a much different story heading into this final weekend.
It really, really was. That was really the defining weekend, not just for this team, but really the rest of this Eastern Division. And so we have the final table for you. The New Jersey Stallions top it with a record of 12-2 and 24 points. 2 games ahead of the Manhattan Yorkers, who finished second at 10-4, and then it was a 3-game gap to the Philadelphians, who finished 5-9. They finished in 5th. The Jersey Somerset Cavaliers 4-9 with 1 game abandoned, and they finished in 6th. New England Eagles finishing in 7th for the 2nd year in a row at 3-10. Just do a quick little recap for you of the Manhattan innings, as the top scorer was one of the 2 non-out batsmen. Really the only highlight in Garanchu Sharma, who got a 50 non-out. Tawhidul Islam 25 non-out. The bowling, Sarapul Islam only bowled 3 overs, got 2 wickets for 19 with that 1 wicket maiden. Trinson Carmichael 1 wicket for 2. He only bowled 2 overs and had a maiden. I think had the game been closer, we probably would have seen more of him. Wicket picked up as well from Keon Joseph, Milan Kumar, and Chirantu Bhatia. So that's going to just... We still have 2 more weekends of exciting cricket action. The minor league cricket, the conference semifinals next weekend, August 20th and 21st. We mentioned the matchups for you in the Atlantic Conference. It'll be the New Jersey Stallions taking on the Morrisville Raptors. It'll be the Manhattan Yorkers taking on the Atlanta Fire. Rakeem Cornwall, Cornet Dry and Company. That should be an entertaining matchup. We don't know yet where those matches will be, so stay tuned to minorleaguecricket.com. On the Western Conference, the Pacific Conference, it'll be the Silicon Valley Strikers entertaining the Chicago Tigers at Morgan Hill in Northern California, while that the winners of those series will head to Church Street Park and Morrisville, North Carolina for the conference finals. Those are one-off matches on Saturday, August 27th. The winners will play on August 28th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific in Morrisville. Under the lights, it should be a magical atmosphere. For more information, if you're and see how you can be a part of it, and if not, you can always check out the action on the MiLC network and on Willow. That's going to just about do it for here for the 2 gentlemen who have given me a real education commentating cricket, and Matthew Achabar added Lenny Achabar, and for the many multitudes of people who have brought you this.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, fellas.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, a slashing shot through the offside. And Vantal, couple of 4s. You know, I was stuck with that truck for 2 weeks. You know that?
Yes.
We did New York, then we came here. So it was, oh man, it was quite a relief that I get to see something. Okay, I don't think, no food for us, right?
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. I have a long ride.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah.
Well, give me your number. I mean, I can get in touch with you, but
yeah. The man in Keon Joseph, he gets the wicket.
Team last year had some gun cricketer pulled into the onside. Fielder settles under it, takes the catch, and that's the end of our wall. So 20 for 2. We'll take a play with the red ball. Oh, that's a lovely shot. 4 written all through that ball. That's a classy looking shot from Sawan Patel.
Over 10. The current run rate for the Titans is only 5.4, less than run a ball. But this one is smashed down the ground for a boundary first ball from Sawan Patel. And not the best of greetings to the Philadelphians captain. Sawan Patel helps himself to a boundary.
We mentioned, you know, how it will be up to these veteran players like the Milan Kumars, like to be a little bit more tidier than somebody like Keon Joseph. That's going to be close, and a direct hit probably would have put him in some danger, but they do scramble through for a single. So to be able to get a...
Down the pitch comes Sawan Patel and picks up another boundary. There's no one there. So a good.
Especially with Major League Cricket. This one is hit in the air, right through his hands, and a big drop there, but that would have, he had, much like a man who's forgotten.
Down the track from Sawan Patel. Fielder takes the catch. Derek Narayan dismisses Sawan Patel.
Thanks, Lenny. Thanks for joining me here once again. And the oh, is that a catch?
Yep.
Yes, it is, and a great catch as that one is nicked on to Mario Rampersad, and he has the safest of hands you could trust a baby with, and he too bad.
It's a lovely shot over the infield here from Goranshu Sharma. Fielder comes around. Did well to get close to the ball, but in the end, look at a lovely shot here from Goranshu Sharma.
Shady spot.
So Sharma goes up and over. That has gone away for 4. Found the gap.
New England Eagles.
Well, this one punched into the offside. Oh, he finally beats the man now. Getting a very awkward bounce. Was on his knees trying to block that one.
That's what they're going to need. Did he take another one? Yes, he did. That's 2 for Mario Rampersad. As he went to flick that one to fine leg, Mario Rampersad dives to his left. That could be a Daphnews catch of the day behind this season so far, as that one is hit well. There's a man at the boundary. Oh, a great job to keep the ball in play.
Kangura.
Oh, Kangura with a one-handed, almost a snag, but guess what? He didn't get the wicket, but he saved 4 runs on that one. That as Islam comes in over the wicket. And that's another one. Another thick edge and another wicket and another catch by Mario Rampersad. Back into the attack.
Smashed away. And 1 runs 4 into the fence from Goranshu Sharma, who's been the lone man fighting at the moment for the Empire State Titans.
You know, when you show up to play, and you're a cricket player, you know, as they come down, you're going to finish off the over on a 4-1 hop and into the Toyota sign directly to the left of Matt Nye. And at the end of the 16th over,
has not had the ideal trip in this year's minor league. Look at that. Has he picked out the fielder? No, he hasn't. It's gone all the way for 6. So there's a shot from Goranshu Sharma all the way. And one of the Daphnews shots of the week candidate. Goranshu Sharma does not need a second invitation.
on Friday afternoon, as Islam will bowl the final 6 balls. As that one is, that is Jonathan Fu, and Fu has been greeted with a massive 6 into the crowd. I'm scrambling to find, by the way, the percentages, as this one is driven down. This is going to be a tough one. Nope, it's going to one hopping over the rope for another 4 season. His final session of those clubs making it, as that one is cut to the offside, and that one will roll away for another 4. So it's party time, I guess, in defeat.
You're watching the Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship, presented by Sunoco.